So yeah, we had kind of a last minute alteration to the stream. What's the word I'm looking for? Roll call, I guess. Um, we're going ahead as planned, and we're just doing like supports anyway, so it'll be fine. But yeah, Willow got sick on account of her heating died. And rather than I don't know be sensible and go stay with her parents or something, she decided to sleep in a 40-degree house, which seems like a bad planning on her part, but whatever. Here we are. Also, I don't know if she's going to deign to make her presence known as we're going here, but I've got a little Kit Kat kind of sat next to me at the moment, just hanging out. Um, I think she might have been audible a couple times um in the recordings from this week. Maybe she was around, but yeah, she's here. I don't know if she'll talk, but she's present. So yeah, that's the yeah that's the deal. Willow is ill and is at home, so I just I am solo on voice tonight. But she's here. She's in the comments or the comments. She's got me doing it now in the chat, not the comments. That would be a silly place to be. Um, okay, let me get us moved up to the uh, there. Get us moved over there. I believe, and I say this with confidence because I went back to check, that we ended off on Bernadetta's A support. So it should be Dorothea that we're picking up with. Oh, let's roll.
La 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 la. La 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 la. How was that?
Yeah, good.
Still the same reaction, huh?
Sorry, me and singing just don't mix very well.
Mercenaries don't understand
Though,
music.
it did make
obviously.
me feel warm inside. Kinda like I was a kid again, with my mom.
Hey, you do get it! That was a lullaby from a long, long time ago. Nowadays, nobody remembers the lyrics, though. Or sings it to their children, for that matter.
A lullaby, huh? I guess that's why it took me back the way it did. But wait, if nobody knows the words, how are you so sure that's even what it is? Just from how it sounds?
Well, there was this scholar who researched it a few years ago and said as much. Couldn't tell you if they were right, though.
Huh. Honestly, I kind of like that it didn't have any words. That way it
Complicated
can hit
words
you
make
straight in the
Shez's
heart
brain hurt.
without all that lyrics and meaning stuff getting in the way.
I'm glad to hear you giving music a little more thought now.
And I'm glad I've had so many chances to listen to you sing. Your voice touches people, Dorothea, even if they don't have the knowledge to really appreciate the high-level art of it. I mean, look at me. Bottom of the barrel, and you still practically move me to tears.
Oh, come now, don't talk about yourself like that.
It doesn't really bother me. And I'm not wrong, am I? No birth parents, no real background to speak of. The whole wandering merc gig. It is what it is.
That's quite the positive attitude. I'll have to try a little bit of that myself sometime. In the meantime, I've once again been able to rethink my singing thanks to you. I lost much of my emotion about the craft during my time as a diva, but I can feel it coming back now.
Imagine that, doing something
You
professionally
really are
makes it
incredible,
not fun.
you know that?
How do you mean?
I don't know. There's just something beautiful about the way you speak. It's like your thoughts just come out of your mouth fully formed, almost perfect, then find their way straight into people's hearts. Probably has something to do with all the training you did to become a diva, and all the training you've continued doing since. Meanwhile, here I am struggling to even make proper sentences when I try to talk about your singing.
Thank you for the kind words. It makes me feel a lot better hearing you say those things about me. But for the record, I don't think you're bad with words at all. Even your little speech now was the definition of smooth. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were trying to flirt with me.
Oh, don't let Violet hear you talking that way, Dorothea. And Violet has just added another +1 to her reasons to kill Shez counter. Sorry, my windows just got a little bit confused. There we go. I lost Discord, not Discord, OBS again. One of these days I'm gonna stop doing that. One of these days.
This war is going on and on. Do you think we will ever have sight of the end?
Yeah, I do. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but it's definitely out there on the horizon.
It will be good to be putting this war behind us. When the war is finished, what are you wishing to do?
That's a pretty big question.
Not be dead, hopefully. Would
Then
be
I will
a
give
good
more
start,
clarity.
Right?
How will you be supporting yourself when your contract is completed? If you have the desire, you could come to Bridget with me.
Wait, seriously? I thought you were just pulling my leg about that.
I would never be pulling your legs. Also, I am speaking with seriousness. After losing the war with the Empire, Bridget was forced into becoming a vassal state. But this war is giving Bridget the chance to stand on equal feet again. We will be opening our borders to Fodlan. The exchanges between us will flourish. I am needing a person I can trust to give me help with this. Please, accept my apologies that the offer was given with too much suddenness.
No, it's not that. I was just taking a moment to admire you. This war has been particularly ugly, and it seems like we're tearing each other apart on a daily basis. But people like you and Dimitri are already thinking about what comes next, how to plan for it. You're every bit the ruler they are.
No, I am different. I am the Queen of Brigid. We are the proud Isles, placed upon the sea by the spirits, who are watching over us to this day.
Right.
Our future has the brightness of the sun. I am hoping you will be at my side as we are shaping it.
Powerful words, and I'm happy you put that much stock in me. Honestly, it's a good fit. I've got nothing tying me down. No family, no titles, no property to speak of.
Assuming Dimitri doesn't just drop a
I
nobility
am
on
not
you at the
asking
end of
for
this.
your answer in this moment. I know your sword is sold right now. But when this war is over, I hope the making of a decision is at the top of your to-be-doing list. That is why I am approaching you so early, because I am very, very sneaky.
Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. And
You
I
heard
don't
it here
blame you for
first,
trying
Petra.
to sneak ahead
Very,
of the
very
competition.
sneaky.
Honestly, I'm kind of flattered. So, how about this? Let's both make it through this war unscathed and decide what comes next together.
Alright, to do. You're up.
Did you, sir? We'd like to hear your opinion on the matter we discussed earlier.
Oh, look at these
Regarding
Kingdom
Count
soldiers
Karen,
going
as I
to the
discussed with
Dusker man for
Gustav,
advice.
Looks like things are finally changing to do. They've really started warming up to you, huh?
they have. That soldier I was speaking to lost his mother in Dusker. She was a knight of the kingdom. Naturally, his feelings toward me were complicated. We argued many times.
You arguing? Can't imagine what that looks like.
Mostly him saying things and the other person
I
backing
thought it
down
better
because
than
he's
just letting
big
him
and
hurl
scary.
abuse at me. Such a reaction was surprising for me as well. But now we have fought together, worried together, faced death together. I have shown him what I'm capable of, and he has come to trust me in turn.
Nice. Sounds like you really earned his respect then. Congrats, Dedu.
Strange. Why are you so happy for me?
Because we're friends. And friends are happy for each other when good stuff happens to them.
Are they?
Anyway,
Does this
now you've just got to
surprise you?
keep it going and get even more people to trust you. Same goes for me. And Dimitri while we're at it.
You're right.
In the meantime, I'm gonna keep winning battles until I prove myself to you once and for all. So make sure you keep an eye on me out there, Dedu. Because I'm gonna be the most valuable fighter we've got.
Doubted now that Violet's back. All arguments from Dedu's side
What's
of
so
things
funny?
begin and end with him gesturing
Nothing.
towards a giant
I look
fucking axe
forward
at
to your
his side.
performance.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you already have my trust, no matter your origin or identity.
Really? You never know when I might betray you and turn my sword on Dimitri, though. Not to mention this weird power I have. Can you seriously say you trust me with that in mind?
Your power is concerning, but it does not define you.
After all, with
I'm
great
sure you
power
would not
comes
so
great
easily betray
responsibility.
His Majesty or myself. But know that if you do, I will cut you down without hesitation.
Again,
That's who I
please see
am.
Big Axe.
You must understand by now.
Weird way to tell me you trust me, but it's got to do written all over it. I'm honored. He's making a run for it, Felix. Don't let him get away.
Sleeping.
Not
Oh,
a chance. He's
he is
mine.
sleeping.
Nice work out there. It's a real confidence boost knowing you have my back.
Yes, you aren't even the biggest person to worry
I
about
can
in
say
this
the same
camp
for you.
anymore. Yeah.
Now that I
true
know your
story.
style better, I have less trouble predicting your movements.
Glad to hear it. Guess you must have a pretty good read on me by now, huh?
On your sword, perhaps.
There you go again. You know, I've gotten a good grasp on the way you think. It's like you decide on a role for yourself, then do whatever you can to see it through. Of course, the role changes depending on the situation and who's fighting beside you. Sometimes you attack, sometimes you defend. It's incredible just how versatile you are.
No need for compliments. That's simply how I was taught to be.
Really? By who?
My father. He may prefer a spear or magic, but he is more than capable with a sword in his hands too.
Right. Makes sense it'd be Rodrigue. His weapon of choice might be different, but he adapts himself to the flow of battle just as well as you do. Probably better, actually.
The style didn't start with him, though. It's something the leaders of our house have passed down throughout the ages. House Fraldarius has been the king's lance and shield for generations. Ever since the time of Kaifin, sworn friends of the great King Lu. At times, we've been sent to defeat the crown's enemies. At others, we've held back to defend the throne. I admit the style has its uses, idiotic history of blind faith aside.
Huh. So that's why you fight the way you do. You're indispensable, Felix. Not just to Dimitri, but to everyone else, too.
I suppose if I'm a lance and shield, you would be like some kind of projectile, an arrow or a stone.
The great King Lu.
You're saying I'm good at taking the enemy by surprise, right? You sure could learn to be more direct with your compliments, you know?
You can interpret it that way if you want. In any case, you're just as important to this army as I am. Between that sword of yours and the way you can shapeshift, nobody ever knows what you'll do next. Some might say your powers are dangerous, but I think they provide the perfect element of surprise.
Huh. Glad to hear you say so.
There's one fault I can't get past, though. You can never stay focused during battle.
Well, it's probably because of the
It's almost
annoying
like you're
beeping
talking to someone
in
while
my
you
head.
fight. Someone in your head that... Hey, what's with the smile?
Huh? Oh, sorry. I'm just really happy we've gotten to know each other so well. Only a true friend would be that open with their criticism. Thanks, Felix.
Say what you will. That's the last piece of advice I'm ever giving you.
He wasn't really mad, was he? It's so hard to tell sometimes.
Don't take anything Felix says too seriously, Shez. It's pretty much just a joke character. At least in our continuity.
It's been a while since we sent that letter, but we still haven't received a response.
Yeah. We know the village chief got it, though. And we know he read it. The soldier who delivered it confirmed as much.
But he never wrote back. I wonder why.
really need to get better at being
Hard to say.
not being distracted during
Maybe
a fight.
he
It's
just
almost like
doesn't wanna
you
get
are
involved.
talking to someone inside.
Maybe
I don't have
he
someone
doesn't
beeping at me in my head.
Part of me almost wonders if my mom didn't make him promise not to tell me anything. Not that I have any proof she'd do that. It's fine, honestly. If he's not gonna respond, then it's probably just a dead end.
And you're okay leaving it be?
I mean,
What else are we
yeah,
gonna do?
I want to know more about my mom, but it's not the end of the world if I can't. You had to give up learning about your parents too, right?
I did, but
No matter what kind of past my mom had, she'll always be my mom. And I'll always be me. I know that she put every bit of herself into raising me, and that's what matters. There's nothing more important than that in my book.
you're right. Whatever your parents did before they had you, and wherever they are now, they'll always be your parents.
Glad you understand. And hey, not knowing the truth lets me make up all sorts of stories about her in my head.
Oh, you mean like imagining she was actually a high-ranking noble, forced into obscurity?
Not a bad idea, but not totally original either. I was thinking more along the lines of a legendary knight, known throughout every inch of Fodlan. Or maybe a mysterious adventurer who came from somewhere far beyond its borders.
That would be incredible if it were true. And it would certainly explain why she was so knowledgeable. Still,
Shez wants her parents to have
sorry,
been
I couldn't
isekai'd,
help you in
apparently.
the end.
Alright, Ash is taking a page
It's
out
all
of
good,
Violet's book
Ash.
and prying into personal information about Shez's
Without
mom
you,
in the
I never
village
would've
of,
spent all
according
this
to
time
Ash,
thinking about
probably
my mom
illiterate
and who
people.
She really was.
Yep. And then he
So
tried to
even
send
though
a
we
letter
came
to
up
the illiterate
empty-handed,
people
I'd say the journey itself was entirely
and was
worth
surprised
it.
when they didn't get a reply.
Yeah.
Anyway, I should probably get going. Just remembered I've got a huge to-do list and not nearly enough time to do it. See ya!
Huh? I could have sworn I saw the commander here a moment ago.
Oh, you just missed them. I can take a message if you want, though.
In that case, please deliver this letter.
And there is no resolution to that at all. Please deliver this letter. No, that was the A support. There's nothing else that... Like, that, like, support right there makes me think that there was probably at one point meant to be, like, actual real S supports in the game, and they just didn't make them. Because, like, that's clearly the setup for, like, an S support, but... Or at least another support rank, and then there's just nothing there. Which is weird. Yeah, it was, like... By the way, I brought this letter for her. End of scene. Nothing to follow up on. Yeah, it's very odd.
Ugh, today's training was rough. Guess I need to start working even harder if I want to keep up.
You know, it's incredible just how into all this you are. But I do feel kind of bad for you.
Why? It's my own fault for not being up to snuff. Just you watch, Sylvain. I'm gonna stand head and shoulders above everyone else in the next battle.
That's not what I mean. I feel bad that we roped you into this war. the only reason any of us are fighting is to keep our homes from
So
being destroyed.
Sylvain, still not getting anywhere with those guns you
If
were
we
trying
fail,
to invent.
We'll lose everything. Our houses, our families, the places we grew up.
Yeah, he was working on
You don't
like,
have that kind of
fire
personal stake in
bombs
this
or
thing.
you know
You can live wherever the wind
pistols
takes
that
you.
used fire bombs as ignition
True.
cartridges or something.
I am a bit of a nomad.
Isn't there anywhere you call home, though?
Well, sorta. I grew up in a remote village off in the mountains, so that's probably the closest thing. But it's hard to really say for sure. Honestly, I doubt I'll ever understand what it means to have a home like all of you do.
So what? Are you just in this for the money, then?
No, I'm only putting all this effort in so I can make sure my friends get through the war alive. Though I'm not gonna complain about the money either.
Okay, now you're just trying to sound good. Though it is working, I'll give you that.
Really, I think this is the closest thing to a home I've ever had. Because I've got all of you here.
Aw, look at Shez being all sappy.
Are you sure? This place doesn't make for quality living, trust me. I mean, it's cold, it's desolate, and there's nowhere to go to have any fun. Plus, we've constantly got enemies like Srang soldiers coming at us from every angle.
Well, I can't deny that. But it's still important to you anyway, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And it's our job to make it a place where everyone can live in peace.
Right. Who knows what'll happen after the war. But for now, I'm with you guys every step of the way.
I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, and about those plans for the fire orb I showed you? Would you mind helping me with a little experiment later? The thing hardly had any punch to it when I tested it.
Sure. Sounds like it's a long way off still, huh?
Hey, I'm trying here. I even got in touch with the School of Sorcery to see if they could help.
No
Hey,
rush,
School of
Sylvain.
Sorcery, you want to
I'm
help
sure
me
you'll
invent a
finish it
thing
one
that
of these
makes you
days.
your fire magic like
I've
you
spent
know,
enough time with
redundant?
you to know. You can do anything when you put your mind to it.
So hey, Jess is super not the person to ask about this anymore. There's a professional right there who would know more about this shit than you do. Yeah. And yet. Who's to say Byleth would give Sylvain the time of day in this dimension either?
Today's training was a total mess. My feet are killing me.
We need to stay in peak shape, though. You never know when we might get tossed into a battle.
True. We've got to be ready for anything.
Mercedes? You daydreaming again?
The thing is that
Gotta
Byleth
say,
would get
you've
a
been acting
gun
all
out of
kinds
it,
of
so
weird
she'd
lately.
probably be fine with it if only for that.
Have I? I feel perfectly fine, I assure you.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a rail gun, so what
You
would she
sure?
care?
Back when we had that tea party, you looked so... I don't know... sad.
I suppose I can't hide anything from you. Things like tea parties with dear friends, or seeing the trainees work so hard to improve. It reminds me of how things were before the war, if just for a moment.
You mean back at the academy?
Yes, and before that, when I lived with my mother and my little brother. It also reminds me of the time I spent studying with friends at the School of Sorcery in the capital.
If anything, she'd help him complete like the
Things may
patent
not have
and
been
then
easy
seize it,
then,
you know,
but I
under
would give
her
anything
authority
to
as the
return to
lost and
those
found.
days.
Huh. I don't think I've ever seen you get this sentimental about something.
The feeling surprises even me. All my years, I've gone wherever the current of life chose to sweep me. In truth, I used to think nothing ever went precisely how I wanted it to. But looking back now, I realize just how joyous all those moments really were. And yes, I'm aware it isn't good to dwell so heavily on the past, but I can't seem to help myself.
And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with getting sentimental. Nobody's gonna judge you for reliving one or two good memories.
Violet was the one who made the thing in the first place, so Vayne was just copying the vague memory of it he had in his
You're
head.
such a kind person.
Still, you shouldn't keep all your emotions bottled up like that. We might not go back to the peace of the old days anytime soon, but we can still have tea
I mean,
parties.
Sylvain never even got to hold one, so...
I'm always here to listen if you ever need to get something off your chest, Mercedes.
Even in the Prime universe,
mean
he'd
that?
be like,
I'm so glad
you know,
to hear it. In that case, why don't we have
working
one
off
right
of
now?
observation at best.
Sure, I don't mind. But why now?
Because I used the money I'd been saving up to buy some more ingredients. Remember how we were talking about all those different kinds of delicious fruit desserts before? Well, I went ahead and whipped some up.
I could never turn down an invitation like that. Can't wait to see what you came up with.
And we never find out what Mercedes came up with. Another one of those, like, cliffhangers. It clearly sets you up for something else and then just has no payoff. Not nearly as obvious as Ashes, but... Okay, Annette, how did that song work out, by the way?
Hey, Annette. What are you up so late for? Some kind of research?
Oh no, it's nothing like that. I've been working on this.
That just looks like a bunch of little black bugs jumping around on a page.
Excuse you. It's sheet music. I have no idea how you could possibly think the notes look like bugs.
Sorry.
Well, why don't we have a tea party
It's
now?
just, I
Sure,
don't
but
think I've ever
why now of
actually
all
seen
time?
sheet
I
music
wanted to
before.
do something to help welcome
Does
the
this mean
professor
you're
into
writing
our
a new
group.
song?
Of course you do.
Mhm. A lovely tune popped into my head today, so I wanted to jot it down before I forgot.
Mind singing it for me? I'd love to know what kind of song it is.
Nope, sorry. I'm not done writing the lyrics yet. I have a rough outline, but that's about it so far. Still, I want to write something happy. A song that'll make people feel good when they sing it.
That sounds great. I can't wait till it's finished.
Hey, do you remember the song I wrote about that night?
Night? Oh, you mean the horse with the human...
Just those are clearly tadpoles.
Yeah,
God, just go
the
play
song
Mario
about the night,
RPG
of
already.
course.
Well, I heard someone singing it again.
Look, Annette, I know you're upset I let it slip, but what's done is done.
I didn't mean it like that. I heard a mercenary singing it to himself as he died. He was covered in blood and could hardly breathe. Yet he had this great big smile on his face as the words crossed his lips. He must have been in so much pain. But still,
Which
he
Mario
just kept
RPG are we
smiling.
talking about? Are we talking about, like,
Probably thinking back to all the times he spent drinking
you know,
and singing
Legend
with
of the
his
Seven
friends.
Stars, or Paper Mario,
Soldiers
or
always throw the wildest
Superstar
parties after a
Saga, or...
battle. The sort of thing where you can find knights and mercs alike locking arms and belting out tunes.
Maybe. Anyway, I've been thinking about that mercenary a lot ever since he passed.
I think that was
I
Legend
never
of the
wanted
Seven
that
Stars,
song out in the
wasn't it?
world, and I'm honestly still not happy about it. but it helped him face his final moments with a smile, instead of sadness or fear. And I'm forever grateful I could provide that.
At a timeline, Annie isn't allowed to
It's like
not
I
be
told you
deeply
before, Matt.
traumatized in some
Your
fashion.
songs can really help people. I'm sure tons more took comfort in that song too. Including me. Whenever I'm feeling down, I just think about one of your silly songs and I'm right back in high spirits.
What do you mean silly? What's that supposed to mean?
Silly? Are you implying my lyrics aren't serious? No, never mind. I'll choose to take it as a compliment. And hey, if my songs really help people that much, I better get to work writing lots of new ones.
There you go. So, what's this next one gonna be about?
Well, right now I'm planning to make it be about a group of friends who dig into a huge feast together.
Annie, if there's anything
Churning
we've
out dish
established,
after
it's that
delicious
Chez
dish,
doesn't
and
understand
everyone's
music.
faces are alight with laughter and joy.
Well, she certainly doesn't understand Dorothea's music.
Wow.
That much is
I'm getting
very
hungry
much a
just
given.
hearing about it.
Right? Then once all the food runs out, they go off hunting for ingredients so they can cook up some more.
Okay.
But uh-oh, they come across a ginormous bear and have to battle it to the death.
A death match with a bear? I thought this was supposed to be a happy song about a feast. Guess I shouldn't judge it before it's done. Just let me know when you're finished, okay? I want to be the first in line to hear it.
Yes, of course.
See, the difference with Annette versus, like, Dorothea in this, like, in this timeline is that while Chez still doesn't understand music, she seems like actually genuinely excited to hear the stuff that Annette is putting together, whereas Dorothea, it's kind of seems more like she's just doing it out of obligation, or like, you know, like some kind of effort to like like some effort to see if she can understand, as opposed to like genuinely just wanting to do it in Annette's case. But Annette also seems to be writing like, excuse you, Annette seems to be writing like, I don't know, LSD fueled like I don't, children's songs or something. It's weird. I feel like a very direct threat on her life is a pretty good motivator to start trying to understand Dorothea's music. I mean, fair.
Hey, Ingrid. Not too often I see you wandering in town like this.
Oh, I was just out for a walk. What about you? Are you here to do some shopping?
Yeah, Dedu asked me to pick up some ingredients for dinner.
Well, if it is food shopping you're after, then your best bet would be the boulevard past the river.
What are you so flustered for? You're not hiding something, are you?
What, me? No, not at all. It's nothing really. I'm just surprised how much you can find here.
You're not like
It's a far
deflecting
cry
well.
from the struggling
Ingrid.
little towns dotting the rest of the kingdom, that's for sure.
Yes, Galatea is one of the regions that's found itself facing particularly hard times lately. A beautiful town like this, filled with happy people, hardly feels like it's part of the same kingdom as the blighted, barren lands I call home. The street lined end to end with blacksmiths is an especially magnificent sight. Not to mention all the wonderful smells wafting from the food stalls.
Hey, Ingrid, not too
Sorry.
often I see you
I lost myself
anywhere,
running it
actually.
there.
What's up with that?
In any case,
Apparently
it's
I'm
great
not
to
actually
see just
important
how
enough to keep
prosperous
around
this
here
town
compared
has
to
become.
Felix. What? What?
Hey, you want to go take a peek at some of those stalls with me? We can grab a bite and keep walking if you want. I saw some mouth-watering meat skewers when I passed by earlier, and this time of year's got the best fruit and fish.
Truly? I'd love to try some. Though it would not be proper for me to be engaging in such revelry as the future Count Galatea.
Hey, speaking of, have you figured out what you want to do yet?
Not at the moment, no. In fact, part of the reason I came into town today was to do some further searching. It's my dream in life to stand as a knight by His Majesty's side, just as my late fiancé once did. And even if I do not become a knight like he was, there must be a way I can protect His Majesty in a similar fashion. Perhaps I could teach the people of my house the ways of farming and travel the kingdom cultivating land for those who need it most.
Just as long as you don't try to
That's
marry
an idea.
Dimitri again.
Definitely an unusual job for a count, but it'll be welcome for sure. And if you managed to help the kingdom prosper while you did it, people would grow more and more satisfied with the royal family's rule. That's certainly one way to protect the king. If that's how it's gonna be, maybe I could pitch in once you finally take the title of Count Galatea. I could be your personal mercenary, just like Tobias was for your grandma.
You do realize how much work that would be, don't you?
Yeah, but you do realize I said mercenary,
My
so
grandmother
you'd be
gave those
paying me.
mercenaries every task under the sun, and then some.
I can handle anything you throw at me,
So
no
you figured out
problem.
what you want to do, Ingrid?
Even if you
Well,
asked
ideally,
me
I'd like to
fetch
be a
meat
knight serving
skewers
His
every day
Majesty,
to
but
save
if
you
I
a trip
don't,
into town.
there was this idea I had recently about a weapons
What?
museum.
I would never. Still, thank you for the offer. I will hold you to it.
Hey, Rodrigue. Looking for something specific?
I am. It's a book called Keyhole's General Treatise on Mercenaries. I was hoping to brush up a bit.
Sounds familiar.
Oh,
Pretty
that?
sure I
You
skimmed
said it
through it
through
back
a
at the
copy at me
academy.
like a while ago.
Are you gonna use it for the next campaign
People
or something?
keep saying to Shez, don't you realize how much work that would be as if they don't
well,
notice that she already does
perhaps.
nearly everything in the camp as is,
Rodrigue,
despite her
is
job being
everything
to
okay?
stab people.
You're not really the kind of guy to skirt around
Yeah,
answers
well.
like that.
If I may, do you remember when we faced Gerald and his mercenaries in battle?
Oh, I remember.
How could I forget? Things got pretty intense out there.
I said it pawned off one of those damn
Indeed
books on
they
him.
did. And that battle is the reason they opted to join our cause. One mistake is all it would have taken for us to suffer a crushing defeat. Thankfully, we managed to seize the initiative ourselves and emerge victorious. Had we not, our main camp would surely have fallen. I expect I too would have lost my life in the fray.
Yeah, it felt like there was danger lurking around every corner. Almost like I was walking on thin ice. Never sure when it was gonna crack beneath me.
It frustrated me to no end, both as a warrior and a commander. To see such foresight, such clever strategies emerging from the other side. Without the wisdom of our predecessors, I would never have been
Do
able
you
to
remember when we
assess the
fought Gerald's
situation.
mercenaries in battle?
Hence why I
Which
again
time?
find
Because I
myself
remember
here
all of them
seeking
very
knowledge.
clearly. It's kind of surprising considering all the
You
head
never failed to
injuries I
impress me,
got from
Rodrigue.
them.
All those years of experience, and you still have the drive to sit down and study tactics in your time off.
I merely despise the idea
I also
of
remember all
defeat
those
within
times
war.
that Byleth
I
killed,
lack
like,
the cunning of the Margrave.
killed Ingrid's
And unlike
troops
Lambert,
over and
I lack
over
the
and over
overwhelming
again.
courage necessary to turn the tide of battle on my own. Which is why I must learn as many strategies as I can. It's the only way I can prevail over those both wiser and braver than I.
You know, you've said before that you and Felix don't have a whole lot in common. But I'm not so sure that's true. Neither of you miss a single chance to improve yourselves. Guess the apple really doesn't fall far from the tree. That goes for Dimitri, Sylvain, and yeah, even Felix. As for you, Rodrigue, I think all that hard-earned knowledge is exactly what makes you the incredible commander you are.
Hey Bio, did we get through the B rank for all of the Golden Deer guys, or
I
did we
bet you
like
could even beat the
stop at C?
Margrave or the former king if you took him on now.
I feel like we did B
I
for
wouldn't be so
all
sure.
of them, but
Both of them were far beyond my reach in their prime. And the Margrave aside,
remember
I
for
could
super
never
sure.
hope to meet Lambert as equals. I'd struggle for an eternity without ever growing close to his might.
I guess you can't exactly catch up to someone when they're gone.
Perhaps not. But that's exactly why we must continue learning. To never stop reaching for those who seem beyond our grasp.
Gotcha. And I'm just gonna have to follow in your footsteps. I'll catch up to you before you know it, Rodrigue. Just don't go dying on me before I get the chance.
Is that so? Then I suppose I'll have to work even harder to give you a proper challenge.
Oh, yeah. You were looking for Keyhole's treatise, right? Let me go ask if anyone knows where it is.
Oh. Will I really make it home next winter?
oh no, we can't do Eggplant because Eggplant, like, you only get his actual, like, supports over on either the Black Eagles or the Golden Deer for some reason.
Hey, you gotta hear this!
What's up, Raphael? You're looking
You're
extra
looking for a
cheerful
copy of that
today.
Keyhole book, right? Hold on, I'll go see if I can
Have you
find
seen
it
the
anywhere.
looks on all
Seth
the soldiers'
immediately
faces
enters
lately?
after Shez leaves.
Don't they seem way
So I
more
heard we're in the
motivated?
market for a book.
Oh yeah. I was wondering what was going on with that.
Well, I was curious too, so I asked. And you know what they said?
Is it because we're winning the war? Lots of victories always boost morale.
Makes sense.
Lawrence
Anyway, that's not
refuses
the
to
reason
talk to
this
Shez in this route because Claude put
They all
Marianne
said
in
it was 'cause
charge.
of the food.
You don't mean...
Yep, they've all been eating the dishes we came up with. You know, with the smoked meat and the rotten food.
Hey, didn't I tell you not to call it rotten? In any case, our hard work definitely paid off. And the food's great too, if I do say so myself.
Right? I could eat that stuff over and over again and never get sick of it. And it's a big hit with the soldiers too.
I feel like a part of
They
it's
said they
also
actually
from the
get
time when
excited
Shez
for
almost
mealtime
killed him
now.
in an accident with a stray Luna orb
Plus,
back during
it's
the
made
incident.
the fight way harder in battle.
I'm really glad everyone's so happy with it. Makes all our effort feel completely worthwhile.
You bet. See, food's important no matter who, when, or where you are.
Yeah, back in my mercenary days, I'd scarf down any old scrap so long as I was full at the end of it. But I've changed my outlook. Honestly, I feel like I can work even harder now that I can look forward to all my meals. And I never would have gotten here without you, Raphael. Thanks.
Huh. I was just thinking the same thing about you. Guess we helped each other equally. You know, I scrounged up every last piece of gold I could find, just so I could go to the Officers' Academy. and become a knight. But once it shut down, opening the inn was basically my only option. But then, running the inn helped me realize all sorts of important stuff too. And now I'm sure, once this war's all wrapped up, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to become the best innkeeper in all of Fodlan.
Sounds like a solid plan. But you'll probably need to up your cooking game even more if that's the end goal.
Yeah, I bet I'll have to train under a real great chef to get me where I want to be. Oh, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna come up with a brand new style of cooking. Something that'll really work my muscles.
What would that even look like?
Well, I don't know. I haven't invented it yet. Whatever the case, I know what I want to do now.
Good for you, Raph.
What do you say to tagging along with me? I think you've got a real knack for this cooking stuff.
I'll think about it. Just be ready to have me showing up at your doorstep if the mercenary work ever dries up.
I scraped together every last piece of gold I could find just so I could attend the Officers Academy. And for your troubles, you ended up killed completely by accident in another timeline.
An invitation from me.
Huh.
You'll definitely have to come over and try all the rotten food I cook up.
Seriously, stop calling it that. But thanks. I'm looking forward to it, Raphael.
Oh, child. Oops. I'm so sad we can't do childs. Like, childs with Shez is literally just her being mad about everything constantly. She and Shez get on as well as about it's like oil and water, honestly. Shez keeps accidentally calling her a child, and Child does not take kindly to it.
Hey, do you have a moment?
What's going on, Ignatz? Finally leaving on that journey to see the world?
No, not that. In fact, we're not going to talk about my dreams today. You always ask questions about me, but you never talk about yourself. So, I thought it was high time I asked about you. You certainly have piqued my curiosity.
Sure, go ahead. What did you want to ask?
Well, since I told you about my dreams, I wanted to know about yours.
My dreams, huh?
When talking to Child, it is very important to know the distinction between child and a child. Shez unfortunately lacks the nuance to understand that there's a difference.
I think being a mercenary and going wherever the wind takes me sounds pretty good.
You still want to be a mercenary? Even after the war's over? But we'll finally have peace. You won't have to fight anymore.
Yeah, but that's all I've been doing since even before the war started. I'd just be going back to my old way of life. Killing monsters, guarding villages. There's still plenty of work even in times of peace. And who's to say some enemy from outside Fodlan won't show up?
Well, that may be true, but isn't it difficult having to constantly fight all the time?
Every job's got its tough parts, but the mercenary lifestyle's a perfect match for my personality. I can't even imagine settling down and establishing roots somewhere.
Yeah, that does sound like you.
Does it now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just meant that you don't really seem like the kind of person who wants to stay tied down.
You think so? Well, whatever the case, I'd plan on earning my keep with my sword. As long as my body holds out, that is. What about you, Ignatz? You gonna stay a knight once this thing's over?
I'm not sure. I'll have to cross that bridge when I come to it. But if my duties as a knight were to end at some point, then I guess that's when I could make my dreams a reality. If I were to do that, do you think you'd like to come with me as my bodyguard?
You do realize I'll be Fodlan's most sought-after mercenary by then. I'm not gonna come cheap.
Oh, really? Then I'll have to work extra hard to save up some money. Because I really do want to travel.
Ignatz, just say you want to be an artist already. Stop trying to beat
Hold
around
you to
the
that,
bush.
Ignatz. I'll be counting down the days till then.
Oh, hello. Are you on your way to get something to eat?
Yeah, you?
I am. Shall we go together then?
Sure thing. I wonder what they've cooked up for us today. That was satisfying. Pretty nice getting such tasty meals all the time, huh?
I agree. The meal was lovely.
You didn't finish your meat again. It's kind of a waste, you know.
I ate a lot of the vegetables, so you can have it.
Hey, if you're offering... Wait a minute. Haven't we had this conversation before?
Chez doesn't realize that they're serving horse meat, and that's why Marianne
Did
isn't
something
having
happen to
any
you,
of it.
Marianne? You seem more relaxed today. In a good way, of course.
Oh no, nothing in particular. But I made a decision. I'm not going to worry about whether I bring misfortune to others or
And look
not.
at that, Byleth gets back, and Marianne
I've been a part
immediately
of
gets
this
better.
family for a while now, and I've worked closely with everyone in it. And nothing terrible has happened to anyone as a result of being around me.
Well, of course nothing bad's happened.
I'm still a bit anxious about everything.
We still haven't
but
sorted out the
I
meal
decided
plans
to
yet.
adopt a more
Annie and Mercy
easygoing
really
attitude.
need to get on that.
I'd like to emulate you and your nonchalant demeanor. How you can just move through the world without a care.
You're making me sound kind of irresponsible. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I say if you want to talk to people, then talk to them. If you want to be alone, then do that. I really think it's best to just be yourself. Don't force anything.
Yes, I think so too. But I fear my adoptive father might chastise me again if I say that to him.
I'm not so sure about that. I think he'd acknowledge how far you've come if he saw you now.
You really think so?
You might not have noticed, but you're a lot different than you used to be. You're definitely somewhat sociable. More so, even.
I just hope that's good enough for him.
I'd like to think it will be. Well, I mean, I guess I don't really know what kind of guy your father is.
Byleth does.
Sometimes I think you say whatever pops into your head without thinking.
Marianne was another one of those
I
ones that
suppose that's
Byleth
what I
had
like about
sworn
you,
to
isn't
burn
it?
her father for her.
I can already tell I'm going to learn a lot from you.
Marianne, the guy is going
I
to be
wouldn't go
dead
that
eventually.
far.
Probably sooner rather than later. It's fine. Okay, we definitely did Yuri's... We did do Yuri's C, right? Pretty sure we did Yuri's C. We didn't do any of Constance, I know that. I think we did Yuri's C. I can't remember if we did Balthus and Happy's B, though.
Oh, Yuri, you're back? I thought you'd still be away.
Well, look who it is. I figured if I didn't come back before sunset, someone might get worried and ransack my room again.
Willow doesn't think we did the B for happy and Balthas, which is not how you spell Balthus, but close enough.
And who might this someone be, huh? You're never gonna let that go, are you?
Just joking, friend. No need to take everything so seriously. Anyway, it's late. Shouldn't you be getting some shut-eye?
Probably, but I just got my second wind. How was your mom, by the way?
Well, it's not looking good, that's for sure. But she's still got some fight in her yet. I'd planned on staying longer, but she told me to do what I had to do and sent me on my way. One minute she wants to see me, the next she's telling me to go home. Honestly, she's all over the place.
Reminds me of my mom. The one who raised me, anyway.
She passed away, didn't she? Judging by your expression, she must have been pretty special.
She was. More than I can say. She took me in when I'd been abandoned. Taught me how to live. We weren't blood related, but she was my mom. No doubt about it.
I'm sure wherever she is now, she's very happy to hear you say that.
Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to ask you something. It's been on my mind for a while now. About your real name. Your mom gave it to you, right? Where does it come from? I've never heard anything like it before.
Look up. No, a little more to the left. See that bright star over there?
That's brave Vesperia.
Star.
Brightest
To the
star in the
left?
sky.
Which one? There are thousands of stars up there, and they're all bright.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you find it or not. Anyway, it's that star's ancient name. The white star that the goddess herself made into a disciple. My mother is a devout
I'm
follower
sure
of
someone was
Ceres.
gonna ransack my room and go
I
through
know it's
my
a pretty
all my belongings
ostentatious name
again.
for a penniless kid.
And who might this someone
I
be?
don't think so.
That new recruit
It
you
just
brought in?
shows how much you
The
mean to her.
glowing one? Oh.
Yeah. Well, I do like it. She gave it to me after all. I'm not sure
By the
how
way,
much
have
of
you
the
seen my
scripture she
fetters
really
of Dromi?
understands,
They seem to have gone missing.
But knowing her, I'm certain she put a lot of
Let's not forget,
consideration into
Violet
my
did
name.
steal his fetters of Dromi like 5
Then
seconds
doesn't
after
it
getting
seem
here.
like kind of a waste not to use it? What with how much thought she put into it.
I've used many names, and each one comes with its own mask. But when I hear my real name, all those facades fall away. The only people who can call me that are those who are truly special to me. Immediate family, or someone just as important. Which means that if you're so intent on using my name, you'd better be willing to spend the rest of your life by my side.
Rest of my life, huh? Okay, I'll think about it.
The look on your face right now, it's priceless.
Violet doesn't even need those to run that
Regardless, it
to
does
run
make me
fast
happy to hear
canonically.
that you like
She
my
just
name.
thought they looked cool and legally appropriated
And
them on
if
site.
you ever decide you're up for it, let me know, okay? I'll think it over too, just in case.
Okay, if it turns out we've done Balthas's B already, somebody just tell me and we'll skip.
I'm stuffed. Looks like you can really pack it away too, pal.
Still can't compete with you, Balthus. That sure did hit the spot, though.
Got that right. Now we can charge into tomorrow's battle fully energized. Hey, let's say we make a little bet. So you can go deeper into enemy territory.
All right, but only to compare who made it farther in the end. No other
Generally,
stakes.
I don't remember talking with him at all before.
I'm not about to risk my life behind enemy lines just to win a bet. Way I see it, us mercenaries fight for two things: gaining renown and staying alive. This isn't some kind of game.
Figured you'd say something like that. You seem like the type.
And yet, you asked me anyway. Don't try to drag me down with you, Balthus.
What's wrong with a little game of chance? It's not like it's evil or something.
Then what would you call it? Financially irresponsible? Because I don't want to end up broke either. Not like some people I know.
You're one tough nut, I'll give you that. But I'm not talking about money. You know what I'm getting at, right? When you're on the battlefield, the only thing you can bet is your life.
That's exactly what I take issue with.
Okay, I know this might sound a little far-fetched, but hear me out.
This ought to be good.
Whatever you do, you'll do it 10 times better if you're having fun, right? That's the key to success.
I mean, you're not wrong.
See, so there's nothing wrong with having a little fun on the battlefield, whether it's with bets or with something else. Living on that edge between victory and death is the key to survival.
Maybe for you, but that's not how everyone else approaches it. I've known plenty of mercs who've said the same thing, but they never made it back home. In fact, you're the only one of them who's still kicking. So I'm sorry, but I have to disagree.
You know, you and I have a lot in common. We're practically kindred spirits.
You'd have asked Byleth instead.
But this is the one thing we don't see
She's
eye to
both
eye
very
on.
unapproachable for most people, and
Strange,
she
isn't
probably
it?
wouldn't care about anything he'd ask anyway,
From
since
where
she has
I'm
no
standing,
fucking
the
idea
only
who these
strange
people
thing
are.
is the way you're thinking about
Hey, Mar.
this.
Well, I guess the bet's off then. Let's just put this little chat behind us and give it our all tomorrow.
Sounds good. Just don't get too reckless and wind up losing your head, okay?
Today's battle wasn't half bad. Minus that close call, I guess. I tell you, when I charged ahead and saw all those archers waiting for me, a single thought flashed through my mind. Not how I'd like to go, but that's life, I guess. Phew, I was sure I was done for.
What are you talking about? It was so windy, there was no way they could have gotten a clean shot at you. You completely wiped them out. Are you telling me you didn't plan it that way?
I mean, I knew a breeze was blowing, but still.
You're right. You would have been Balthus-sized target practice if the wind died down. But you bet your life that it wouldn't, right? That's something only you could pull off. I never would have taken those odds.
It was all lady luck, pal. Pure and simple. Where's this coming from, anyway? I thought you hated all that gambling on life and death stuff.
I did, but you're living proof that it can have a place on the battlefield. You roll the dice and get the job done. Can't argue with success. I have to accept that your way actually works. All I can do is hope you win your bets every time.
Thanks for saying that, but what happened today wasn't calculated at all. Things were going great, then I got carried away and made a stupid mistake. It just so happened that the wind was blowing the right way. Otherwise, I'd be dead.
You mean it was all just a coincidence? Well then, color me surprised.
It was a complete fluke, honest. That's why I was gonna tell you I've learned my lesson. That I'm done gambling with my life.
Really? That's the best idea you've ever had.
But since you admitted my way has merit, I think I'll keep rolling the dice.
Oh, good. Thanks, Balthus.
I gotta
Thank
do
you
what works
taking
for
the
me,
long,
you know? Can't let one close call make me lose my
take away from
nerve.
that.
Wait, what? Isn't that what almost got you killed today? I take it back. You are definitely gonna die.
Imagine
Please
Archer's
stop.
actually not having the shot just because of a bit of wind.
Too late.
He'd have been dead
A
before
warrior
even
doesn't go
being
back on
seen
their
if he'd
word
have
after
been
all.
charging towards burning her ash.
We might have had some misunderstandings along the way, but what's important is that you learned to accept me for who I am, right?
I don't know, this
In that
timeline
case,
Ash is a
what about
dancer
you
for
saying
some
you weren't
reason.
gonna bet your life on this stuff anymore. A warrior doesn't go back on their word after all.
That doesn't count. I only said I was gonna tell you.
Sure, whatever you say. Your logic is flawed, but it makes a tiny bit of sense.
I know, right? You're a good sport, pal. If you still want to grumble about it, we can hash things out later when we're celebrating our victory.
Fine, I can live with that. It's a tough job, but someone's got to talk some sense into you.
Coco, let's go.
Needless to say, that is the only logical course of action. Excuse me, are you even listening?
I like how she has basically just said, huh, you're kind of an idiot, aren't you? And got the response, yep, thanks for understanding.
Sorry, I got distracted and missed the last part. Something about your plan to restore House Nouvelle?
That was where the conversation started. Clearly you have not listened to a single word I've said. Creating new magic, charting unknown sorcery waters. Therein lies the means to make my dream a reality.
Ah, courage. That's what you need. Courage is the magic that turns dreams into reality,
you will make a
Coco.
most fitting test subject for my research.
No thanks.
What reason could you possibly have to refuse? Do you not want the honor of helping House Nouvelle regain its former glory?
I don't mind lending a hand, but I'm not so keen on being a test subject. You don't even know what'll happen. Wouldn't it make sense to experiment on yourself first?
Huh. A rather astute deduction for one such as yourself. However, there is one critical flaw in your reasoning. Were I to do as you propose, I would be unable to properly observe the results with my own eyes.
Well then, you'll just have to be patient until someone volunteers. We'd have a big problem on our hands if something
It really
happened to me
bothers
before
me
the
how
next
her default
battle,
outfit
right?
is basically just a
Actually,
slightly
that
modified
probably goes for
Grimoire
everyone.
outfit. Yeah, I know,
I
it's
suppose you are
not
correct.
great.
But then, my research has reached an impasse.
I guess so. Okay, how about this? Since we're at war, why not try and distinguish yourself in battle? You could still conduct your research at the same time. Combat's more my wheelhouse anyway. In fact, we could even start right now with some training. What do you say?
I respectfully decline. While I am not entirely
Cornelia
opposed to
also
the
had the
idea of
same thing as
military
well, which
prestige,
also bothered me after I noticed it.
I
Yeah.
am unable to accompany you at this time. Training at night will surely suffice.
At night? But you won't have enough time if you don't train during the day. You're not planning on pulling all-nighters, are you?
Oh, please! I am not that foolish. I simply do not wish to train at this very moment.
All right, I'm not gonna twist your arm. But I'm heading over to the training grounds, so feel free to come by if you change your mind.
Very well. However, there are extenuating circumstances that prevent me from doing so. Nevertheless, I shall succeed in all my endeavors, be they magical or military, and I shall do it all in my own way.
Silly Shez, I'm not nearly depressed enough right now to bother with combat training. Come talk to me in about 3 hours.
Constance, is that you? I don't think I've ever seen you train during the day.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's not... the problem is that for her to have been training as the kind of personality that Shez was talking to, she needs it to be at night because when she's out in the light, she's in depression mode. Like, she was inside a building in the shade, so she got to be, like, upbeat, you know, Constance. But it's when she's out in, like, direct sunlight or whatever that she gets all depressed.
Good day to you, though I fear my presence is as a storm cloud in an otherwise clear sky. My sincerest apologies for subjecting you to this wretched sight. I shall vacate the premises at once to spare you any further distress.
No, wait, don't go. Since you're here, why don't we train together? You're here because
Really
you're trying
weird
to
for
achieve
that
your
to
dream,
be a thing
right?
that. So apparently,
Though it pains
it has
me
to
deny such
apparently it has to
kind
do with
words,
like
of which I am truly
the
unworthy.
fact that she was present to watch her
I am
entire
afraid
house
my
be
dream
slaughtered
will likely never come to pass.
during the daytime
This
or whatever.
pathetic
So
excuse for athleticism you see before you is
built
nothing but a
this
futile
persona
attempt
as
to
a defense
strengthen my frail
mechanism
body
to
and stave off death.
get around her PTSD.
How could I possibly ask an exemplary warrior such as yourself to squander your time with one such as I?
Training so you don't die is as good a reason as any. I'd say that's why I'm doing it too. See? Our goals are the same, so there's no reason not to work together.
Well, since you have given it much more consideration than I deserve.
What a workout! I'm beat.
To think my other side would be able to keep up with such rigorous training.
You okay, Constance?
Never better. In fact, I am just getting started. Are you leaving so soon?
All right, let's go again. But it's strange how you're suddenly so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Oh, hello.
I
Yeah,
surprise
it's just
even myself sometimes.
just me
Making
on
my
voice
dreams a
tonight,
reality
so.
takes effort, you know.
And Willow found herself ill.
I
so.
cannot allow something so trifling as exhaustion to stand in my way. Who knows how long things would take if I did? Therefore, I shall spare no opportunity to train today. And tomorrow, all of Fodlan will behold my military prowess.
That's all well and good. But then why didn't you want to train before?
I told you there were extenuating circumstances. Had I known you would respond in such a manner, I would have asked for your assistance much earlier. Oh, I just had a brilliant idea!
I've got a bad feeling about this.
We can train together and conduct magical experiments at the same time! You see, I've invented this particular spell that imbues the palms with a suction power that makes dropping one's weapon a hindrance of the past.
But Shez can just summon her weapon.
I'm gonna go ahead and respectfully decline, on behalf of everyone.
You refuse? Wait, that is rather disappointing. Very well then, let us proceed with the training.
One side has an overabundance of confidence. while the other is clearly lacking it. Maybe the two balance each other out.
What are you blathering on about? Let us be on with it!
I don't think I really like Constance very much so far.
Oh, hey, Happy. You sure like the outdoors, huh?
Coco is a bit of
I
an
guess you could
acquired
say
taste,
that.
I think.
Probably because I grew up in a forest. Or maybe it's because I was forced to live in Abyss all that time.
Oh, that's right. You were at Garrigmok too. I wasn't there for very long, but I never would have guessed there was a whole town hiding just below my feet.
Well, it was. I should know. What about you, though? What did you do before hopping into the mercenary business?
Before that? Well... I lived with my
Gary's
mom in a
probably Will's
village deep in the
favorite.
mountains. Feels like forever ago now.
Yeah, he's alright.
Oh, I call her my mom, but we weren't
He's
actually related.
also, like,
She was more like a foster
unironically,
parent.
the single best unit outside
So
of,
what
like,
was she like?
Byleth in Three Houses.
I don't suppose she was interested in
Like,
magical
Yuri
research,
is
was she?
ludicrously busted in Three Houses.
I don't know about research, but yeah, she knew how to use magic.
Actually, a lot of
Interesting.
shit right below your feet at that school.
How did
Jazz.
you two end up
For example,
living together?
remember that gazebo you drank tea at a few times?
I don't really know the details. I can't
There's also
remember
enough
anything
space
from
to
before
store
I
an
was
entire
with her.
platoon of horses. True
Apparently,
story.
I was a foundling. Sadly, finding a starving, abandoned child isn't that uncommon. But for her to take me in and raise me as her own, I think my mom was someone special.
Yeah, I guess. She was probably a good person.
And multiple sets of catacombs. Yeah, that shit. That too.
Something on your mind, Happy?
I was just wondering why someone who could use magic was living in a remote mountain village.
You know, someone told me one time that she wasn't actually from there. But when I asked her about it, she just gave me this sad smile.
Very interesting.
Like, they set up
Seriously,
this whole
Happy, what's
mystery
going
with, like,
on?
Shez's
Does it have something to
like,
do with my mom?
family and Shez's, like,
No, it's
adoptive
nothing.
mother
Sorry to bring
and
it up.
stuff, and then they just never resolve
I
it.
was just letting my imagination
Ever.
get the better of me. Sorry if I upset
Miss
you.
Ray just
really.
dug more basement rooms whenever she got bored the past 1,000+ years. Yeah, probably.
I'm fine. Don't worry about it. No big deal. Besides, I'm sure you had your reasons, right? If you ever feel like talking about it, I'm always here.
Thanks. Just some old demons of mine.
Happens to the best of us. Don't sweat it. You want to head back and get something to eat?
Sure. Oh, and we can pick some berries on the way. I think I saw some a little bit ago.
What kind? After all my time in the mountains, I'm something of a berry expert myself.
Shez, in fact, knows what berries are and are not.
Hey,
what berries are and are not poisonous.
minute?
Had to learn that one the hard way many
I have
times.
several. Need something?
So, I heard a little about your past, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind telling me more about it.
I see. So now you know, huh? Not the most pleasant story. What did you want to know?
I was thinking about how you asked all those questions about my mom. And I realized you were probably worried I went through the same thing as you.
Yeah, that about sums it up. You do have those mysterious powers after all. When I was little, some strange lady kidnapped me. I became a test subject for her twisted experiments.
Thanks for that, Cornelia.
That's how I ended up with my condition, or whatever you want to call it. Not that it's life-threatening.
Safe to say my mom never did anything like that. I'm pretty sure I'd remember it if she did. She didn't really talk much, but I don't think she had a deceitful bone in her body. Her life was kind of just what you'd expect out in a village like that.
I feel like there's a
She did
lot
keep to
of
herself,
context missing
though.
here if you aren't already familiar with Happy beforehand.
Thinking about it more, it's possible she was on the run from someone.
Yeah, so Happy's thing is that, like, Cornelia sort of kidnapped her and did a bunch of spooky experiments on her, which resulted in Happy having a condition where anytime she sighs, it basically spawns demonic beasts. So she has to be very careful to, like, control her emotions so that she doesn't inadvertently sigh and summon demonic beasts to wherever she's at.
That does sound a little worrying. But in any event, I'm glad you didn't go through what I did. And unlike me, it
And then
seems
most of
you've
the time
got a
you
pretty
find
good
her in
handle
camp,
on your
she usually
powers.
seems to sigh at least once.
Nah, I don't really have full control of them yet. You never know when something might go wrong. One day that sword might overtake me, and I'll turn into a monster. Like something out of a fairy tale.
Not a hero's relic, Shaz, you'll be fine.
If that ever happens, I'll just sigh, and you'll come running. Then me and all your old friends would put you out of your misery. Now that's a real fairy tale ending.
Oh, that won't give me nightmares at all. But if it ever came to it, I think that's how I'd like to go. Mercenaries need to use every weapon and tactic at their disposal. Maybe flinging these powers around isn't such a good idea. But right now, I need to do whatever I can to stay
No,
alive.
Byleth would put her out of her misery, Happy.
Now,
Let's be
honestly,
real
I
here.
should probably take a page out of your book and only use them as a last resort. I think that's what makes you pretty incredible, Happy. You've got this power right there, but choose not to use it.
I think that means I just gave up. You're way more amazing because you're still trying. No doubt about it.
No, you're the amazing one. And you can't tell me otherwise.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Anyway, was that all? 'Cause I feel like I need to move.
Yeah, thanks for talking with me. You going to train?
Yep. Figure it couldn't hurt to put in a little effort. You should come too if you're free. I hope to see you there.
Come to think of it. Experiments, huh? What did that dream even mean?
You got this power right there and choose not to use it. Except for all those times I've seen you sighing around camp. You should probably not do that.
Hey, Sedith. What are you staring off into space for?
Oh, it is you. I was just reflecting on the monastery.
Ah, yeah. It's that way, isn't it? In the mountains.
Correct? So close, yet still beyond our reach.
Can't say I ever learned much about it when I was there, but I know it's important to the church.
Sedith, that's fine. The place will be
Yes.
stolen back before too
It serves
long.
as the headquarters of our order. Many saints have been laid to rest there as well. As a sacred ground, Garreg-Mach Monastery is irreplaceable. It is also a place that Flayn and I hold dear to our hearts.
So, your sister feels that way too?
Due to our circumstances, Flame and I traveled around Fodlan as nomads for a very long time. When we accepted the Archbishop's gracious invitation, I thought we had finally found our safe haven. That it would be taken from us so easily is almost too much to bear.
Well, that's all the more reason to take it back then. I'll do whatever I can to make that happen. Oh, I mean, while staying away from the Archbishop, of course.
You must forgive me for saying what I did back then. My position required I do so. I do not personally believe, however, that any evil resides within you. Whatever the true nature of your power, I trust you wield it with a righteous heart.
So you finally trust me? I'm sure glad to hear that.
Indeed. I am truly grateful to have you as an ally. I know I have no right to say this after regarding you with such suspicion, but we need you. I pray you will continue to lend us your strength, not only for the Church, but for the future of Fodlan itself.
You can count on me, Sedith.
The sacred ground Garreg Mach is both incredibly important to us and completely irreplaceable, and that's why Rhea gave it to the first unhinged war criminal she ran into in another timeline. You know, as you do. We did Flames B, right? I'm pretty sure we did Flames B. Okay, well, we'll start her. I don't think we did either Catherine or Shamir's stuff. Let's assume we didn't do Flames B, and we'll figure out pretty quickly if we did or not, I guess.
Oh, hello. You're looking rather sharp today.
Huh? But this is just the same thing I always wear. It's actually so dirty, it's kind of embarrassing.
Well, aren't you humble? I happen to think that all that grime complements your rugged appearance rather well.
Grime? Hey, if that's how you see it, I'll take it. These clothes are probably starting to stink a bit, though. Hold on. I smell something, and it's definitely not grime. Flame, are you wearing perfume?
You noticed? This delightful fragrance is apparently in fashion. A dear friend of mine gave it to me.
It is delicious fishy oil.
Wow. I can't believe there's still perfume and fashionable stuff in these dark times.
They exist precisely because of the times. We must not allow the darkness to consume us.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, you think I could try some of that?
Wait,
a
are
little
you
style
wearing
never hurt
perfume?
anybody.
Incorrect. It is simply the smell
The
of delicious
battlefield can be a
fishies.
depressing place. I could use a little more positivity.
Of course. I will bring you some later. It is certain to brighten your day.
Later, why did
Besides,
Flame bring me this
discussing
maintenance
popular
oil?
trends always livens up a conversation. Don't you agree? Oh, I know. Why don't we go to town and seek out the newest styles? You do not have any other plans today, do you? Come then. There is no time like the present. Okay, next is... Oh, that stall over there appears to have some lovely merchandise.
No, there's more? We probably should head back soon, or Sedith will...
Worry not. My brother is still working. He mentioned he was particularly busy today as well. Actually, it has been a very long time since I've been out shopping like this.
Does Sedith not allow it? He sure seems to want you in arm's reach at all times.
That is correct. I am afraid he cannot help but worry incessantly about me. Were you a gentleman? I am certain the situation would have become quite disastrous if he had caught us together.
Disastrous?
But
Well, you should have seen what he did to Ignatz that one time in a different
continue our
timeline.
shopping expedition? I
No
am
skin
sure
off
there are
Flame's
many
teeth
more
if
fashionable
they
items
get
just
back
waiting
late.
to be
She
found.
isn't the one Sedith is gonna scream at over
Are
after
you sure
all.
it's all right? What if someone says something? If Sedith hears we were out alone together, then he'll...
I do not believe anyone would go to such lengths just to tattle on us. Most people find my brother intimidating, so it is unlikely anyone would approach him over something so trivial.
Well, all right. I'll keep you company a bit longer then.
Hey, was it not I who initially offered to keep you company?
You did?
Don't you remember? You spoke of your low spirits and said that the latest fashions would cheer you up.
I did?
Yes, you did. Now come along.
Come on,
Let us
Chaz, I'm
look
sure
over
he
there
can't do any
next.
worse to you than what he did when you told him about Flame locking up that one time.
Oh well, not gonna rain on her parade now.
So it's just no? Not under any circumstances?
It is not up for debate. This is for your own good, Flame.
Hey, you okay, Flame? Why the long face?
My brother has seen fit to forbid me from going out entirely.
That doesn't sound unusual for him. But as long as he doesn't know, what's the harm, right?
A fair point, but my brother truly is concerned for my safety. Perhaps...
It does seem like the church has enemies all over the place these days. So I don't know. I think I get where he's
Sedith, you
coming
want
from.
a delinquent child, because this is how
As
you get
know,
delinquent children.
my brother and I have lived in remote and secluded places for a very long time. All we had was each other.
This is how you get a Flame
Then
that
we
like
went to
snaps
Garrett
at her
Mock, and
uncle
suddenly
and
we were
tries to
surrounded
murder
by
him with
all
a
these people.
death cannon for missing her birthday
I had
party.
hoped to make many friends and listen to their countless tales of all the places I hadn't been. But before I got to really know the people at the Officers' Academy...
Well, that and allowing her to interact with Byleth.
Everything went all topsy-turvy, and the academy had to shut down.
Do you remember when we went into town together to look at the latest fashions? That was so much fun. I was looking forward to going shopping together again, but... perhaps I should just let the whole thing go.
Oh, Flame. Don't give up so easily. We're just talking about a little outing here.
Even that would prove tremendously difficult for me. With the church thrown into such chaos, my brother is in a near constant state of agitation.
Flame, just go ask Byleth. What's Sedith gonna
I must
do
not
then?
trouble him
Stop
further
her.
by making him worry about me as well.
True.
You're very kind to your brother, Flame. Just remember, it won't always be like this.
You think so?
Absolutely. Wars can't last forever, right? When this war ends and peace returns to Fodlan, taking a shopping trip will be no big deal.
If that is so, then would you be willing to go into town with me again when that day comes?
Of course. I'd be happy to keep you company. Or were you keeping me company? I forgot.
With that to look forward to, It should be no trouble to summon a little
Jez,
patience.
I don't think you really get that Senate is kind of like
is
this,
times like
even
this
when
I
there
am grateful
aren't
you're not a
actively
man.
wars going on.
What?
Yeah, he's
Oh, you mean because
he's
of
kind
Seta?
of just overprotective.
Yes. I'm not sure my brother will permit me to go anywhere with a man, even when the war is over.
You'll
I
never
mean,
get
there
to
was
know
that
any
time
men if
she
he
tried to
doesn't.
heal like
Are
too
you
many
okay with
people
that?
and put herself into a coma for
No, but if I do it
like
anyway and she
hundreds of
finds
years
out,
or something.
I'm sure it would be, as I've said, utterly disastrous.
Well then, I'll just have to help you sneak out, won't I?
Oh my, would you really do that? I should have known you would be so bold.
What a pain. Everything all right, Catherine? Thought I saw Count Karen a second ago.
Yes, I just had to talk to my father about something.
Oh,
He
Flame
wanted to
need heal
request some
people
of the
when Mercy's
church's
around.
soldiers
Everyone
as
knows that Flame,
reinforcements.
the god
but
of
I
healing,
don't
is
have the
worse
authority
at
to
than
make that
Mercy is.
decision. For the life of me, I can't understand why he'd come to me for something that only Lady Rhea or Dimitri could help him with.
Whoa, wait. Count Karen is your dad?
Yes. Huh. I could have sworn you knew. Well, I guess you do now. I am, in fact, the daughter of Count Karen of Fargus.
I had no idea. No, now that you mention it, you do bear their crest.
Yeah, but so does Lysithea. That doesn't mean
Things
anything.
are complicated with my family, to say the least. But basically, I'm keeping my distance from House Karen for the time being. Right now, I am Catherine, Knight of Saros. No connection to any house or the kingdom.
I see. So you intend to keep serving the church going forward? But what do you think you would do if the church and kingdom broke their alliance?
A foolish question. Obviously, I would side with Lady Rhea. It's not a matter of kingdom or church. My allegiance and my sword lies with Lady Rhea and her alone. Though, of course, I would prefer not to fight my friends and family from back home. So it would be ideal for me if the kingdom and church could play nice forever.
The Archbishop's personal sword, huh? You've got one heavy blade.
What about you? What are you fighting for here? Or is it one of those, I just tripped and fell into it kind of stories?
Just Shez over here spouting Ikeisms.
I'm doing this for my friends and comrades. I want to make things better for everyone in the kingdom.
Huh. That wasn't what I was expecting. You're pretty loyal for someone who came up as a mercenary.
Aside from that, you
It's
might
quite
be right.
literally a I
Maybe
tripped
my
and
coming
fell
to
into this
Fargus
type
was
of
pure
story,
chance.
Catherine.
A civil war broke out in the capital right after I joined the Officers' Academy. By the time things died down, Rhea decided to close the school. That's when Dimitri put me in my current role.
Sounds like you've had a rough go of things too. But you're commanding kingdom troops now, right? That's a pretty good step up. I say that as long as you're living life in a way that would make your past self proud, that's enough.
Make my past self proud, huh?
Easier said than done, I know. But it can't hurt to try, right? Just keep challenging yourself. You'll get there eventually. Oh, hey. On your way back from training? It's admirable of you to keep at it so late.
Yeah, well, I like to get in a little bit of practice whenever I can. Can't afford to fall behind with everyone else getting so strong on the battlefield.
It's a little late for me today, but I could join you tomorrow. If that's okay, of course.
Really? That'd be great!
A desire to get stronger is not a bad thing in my book. While we're on the subject, can I ask you something? Why do you want to get stronger? No, wait. Let me start with a different question. What made you originally decide to become a mercenary?
It's not really much of a story. This is kinda just where I ended up. After my mom died, I left the village we'd been living in, but I had no idea what I was gonna do. I eventually ran out of money and fell in with a mercenary group. Then I worked my way up from doing their laundry to fighting.
You don't say. Well, I guess your story is a pretty common one, actually. How'd mercenary life treat you?
Well, I died, so there was that.
Awful at first. But once I met some folks that I got along with, it wasn't so bad. Anyway, the plan was to keep fighting alongside my friends, make a name for myself as a merc, and eventually run out of luck and die.
Oh, so
But
that's
somehow,
why Shez is
I
so
suddenly found
good at
myself in
doing all the
charge of
chores
King's
around
private
here.
army, leading soldiers into battle. Not really what I expected, I'll tell you that much.
That's how life is. You never know what tomorrow will bring. When I was a kid, I never imagined I'd be wielding some holy relic as a Knight of Saros. I thought my destiny was to follow in my father's footsteps and become the next Count Karen.
It seems like you've been through a lot. I heard you were a fugitive at one point.
Yes, well, something happened. My best friend lost his way, and I couldn't set him right.
Ah, Christopher.
Eventually, it cost him his life, and I let it happen.
You didn't just let it happen, you
I
ended
couldn't stay in
him.
my hometown after something like that. But despite all that pain and sadness, I have no regrets about the choices I've made in my life.
Not many can say that. So, you succeeded in making your past self proud, huh?
That's right. My past has made me who I am today. I'm going to keep moving forward, no matter what hardships lie ahead.
You're a strong person, Catherine. I think I could learn a lot from you. Hearing your story and what you said about making yourself proud gives me so much to think about. No matter how hard we try, there will always be times when we have to make tough choices, right? My past self fought hard to get me here. Am I gonna make the choice that past me would have approved of?
The tough part isn't making the right choice, though. It's what you do after.
Someday if we could
You
just
must
run out
try
of
your
luck and
best to
die.
make
And
whatever
then I
decision
did, so
you
now I'm
land
here.
on into
Excuse
the
me?
right one in the end.
Shit, I did it again, didn't I?
You make it sound so easy. But the more I think about it, the harder it seems.
Then don't think about it. Just keep trying your best day after day. Put one foot in front of the other, and eventually, you'll look back and realize how far you've come.
That's all I've gotta do, huh?
That's all. You could even start right now. If anything I said struck a chord, that is. I, for one, look forward to seeing you carve your own path, wherever it may lead.
I should call it a day. You sticking around?
Nah, I should finish up too. Thanks, Shamir. I have to work out new unit formations for our next battle.
You're pretty conscientious for a mercenary. That's rare in our profession. Well, sorry to cut and run. Good luck with all that.
No worries, I can handle it. It's my responsibility, after all.
Right, well, if you ever need a hand, just let me know.
Really? Thanks. Dependable as always, Shamir. Honestly, you're so mature for your age. You always seem
How
so
old even is she
composed,
supposed to be?
almost wise.
Because, like,
even when we're just chatting.
I feel like
I wouldn't
that's a
say
valid
lies.
question.
Save that for the higher-ups. I just mind my own business. Plenty of mercenaries do the same.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that.
You know, you're pretty easygoing yourself, even by Merc standards. Have you been on your own for long? Didn't you belong to a mercenary group at some point?
Yeah, but I bounced around a lot. Let's see, the company I was with the longest was... probably Burling's mercenaries, the last one I joined. But then we clashed with Gerald's band, and I was the only one who survived.
No, you died too.
There isn't a mercenary who hasn't lost someone or something along the way. The losing trusted comrades stays with you.
Yeah. Captain Burling, Getz, Lasley. We were a tight-knit group, if a little rough around the edges. I would have been content staying with them till the end.
Maybe your experience is what's made you so pragmatic. Takes real strength to overcome past hardships and move on.
There's that one little
That's right,
butterfly
anyway.
that caused this entire game.
You know,
was that
you
butterfly
seem way
of,
more pragmatic than me.
you know, Shez
I
not
wonder what made you that
actually
way.
dying in that fight when Byleth killed
You should
her.
know not to pry into a mercenary's past. But if the right moment comes, maybe I'll tell you about it.
A technicality, there were 0 survivors. Shez is just fortunate enough to have some asshole that lives in her head and is really good at piecing a corpse back together. Pretty much.
That's hilarious! Who knew there could be a merc like that?
Yeah, he'd say it with a completely straight face, too. I take my pay in apples. This guy would storm onto the battlefield lugging around a sack full of apples. Truly one of the strangest things I've ever seen.
I guess you could say he was hungry for battle. Wish I could have seen that myself.
He was probably the best smelling guy out there. I'll give him that. That reminds me. Remember when you asked about my past?
Yeah, sorry if that was out of line. I shouldn't have pried.
No, it's okay. Actually, I thought I would tell you, if you're still interested.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. It's not much of a story anyway. Besides, it's already been 7 years. I used to belong to an organization that was less a group and more like one giant mercenary state. Not the kind of place you go for building bonds of trust and camaraderie. Still, there was one person there who I thought of as a partner. As you can probably guess, he was killed. And that was that.
Don't quit your day job, Shez. That was some Aloys tier levels of awful jokes.
What? That's it? That's the whole story? Then again, I don't know why I would expect otherwise. But why'd you want to tell me all of a sudden? I thought you hated talking about your past.
I felt a little guilty. You shared your story with me earlier, but I didn't tell you mine. At the time, I wasn't about to go telling some stranger all about my past. But now I think you're at least somewhat trustworthy. So I told you. That's all.
Seriously? Wow. I'm really happy to hear that, especially from you.
Why? Everyone here adores you. I'm sure you
I
hear
don't know
stuff
about
like that all the time.
everyone, Shamir.
All the time? Come on, that's an exaggeration. I've always felt that you were a more distinguished mercenary than me. Earning recognition from a merc I respect is a real honor.
So if you see me as some sort of senior mercenary, I guess that makes me the mentor
Yeah,
in this
Lawrence
relationship.
definitely doesn't like us very much.
I guess.
I see. All this time I've been treating you like an equal, but maybe I should have been taking you under my wing instead.
How would you feel if I took you up on that? Seems like fun.
Yeah, well, you know what else is fun? Any person I mentor has to pay for drinks. All of them.
No way! What kind of deal is that?
Just a joke, sorry. I have no intention of treating you any different.
I should have known. That's why I like you, Shamir.
Where did the music go? The music took a vacation. Don't worry about it. Alright, Byleth time.
You ready for this?
Come at me. No hesitation. You actually managed to dodge that.
Not sure dodge is the word I'd use. I just let my power loose without even thinking. Guess I'm still no match for you.
Give yourself a little credit. It took everything I had to keep up. If you could avoid an attack like that, then you're easily on par with me.
That's bullcrap, and you know it, Byleth.
You barely even used your power. You know, the one that throws off your enemy's perception or whatever?
Jess is literally
I
asking
wouldn't
to
have
get
stood
her
a
ass
chance if you
kicked
hit me
now.
with that.
Yep.
So you've noticed it.
How could I not? We fought about 1,000,000 times by now. Your power's not exactly visible, so it's definitely tougher to catch on to than mine. But I've experienced your kind of beatdown firsthand, so I'm painfully aware of the damage you can inflict.
Sorry about that. I couldn't afford to pull any punches back then.
It's fine. Water under the bridge. So, have you had your power for long? Where'd you learn it? I was kind of wondering if I could pick it up myself.
I only became aware of it when I was fighting hard against you. But I don't think it's something a person can learn. Even I barely understand how it works.
Right.
Oh,
Gotcha.
wow. Yeah.
Sounds like we're in the same boat then.
Yes. Just two strange people
Jez over
with
here
even
trying to,
stranger
like,
powers.
Ask how she
And
gets
I'm
Sopha's
not only
powers.
talking about your sword.
Hmm?
Do you ever feel like there's some sort of mysterious presence within you?
Oh,
It's just that sometimes it's hard to tell what you're thinking. Like you get distracted by something from time to time.
I kind of wonder if that's how other people
Almost
see
like
my
you're talking to
conversations with
someone else.
JPEG.
Inside your head.
Oh wow, you're so good at this. But you don't even use 1/10 of your strength. I'm trying to play nice so JPEG won't get mad. Take a hint. What's a JPEG?
are you asking because that's what happens to you?
No, it was just something I noticed. I simply thought I'd ask.
If you say so.
Alright. Lilith A. See, the difference is that Byleth is very open about the fact that she spends all her time talking to someone in her head. So if she was questioning on it, she's just be upfront about it, unlike Shez.
I can't believe I tried to kill you.
It's all right. I know that wasn't really you.
Oh yeah, minor spoilers.
Still, the one who did it was a part of me. Literally. You asked me about this before. About some mysterious presence within me.
That's right.
Should probably stop playing this one.
Sorry
but
I
it's
couldn't give you a
easier
straight
to
answer
just
back
do
then.
it now.
Arval told me not to tell anyone. That's the name of the presence that was inside my head, by the way. The one that took control of my body and tried to kill you. Or maybe it was someone else entirely. The one that called himself Epimenides.
Arval and Epimenides, I wonder what manner of beings they are.
Beats me. And it's not like I can just go and ask them now. Honestly, I kinda wish I'd talked to Arval more now that I can't.
That's how these things work, sadly. When you're ready to talk, the person you want to talk to is no longer there.
But there's still so much I don't know. Remember how I got trapped inside that void with Dimitri and the others after our fight? That's when Arval used the name Epimenides, and then tried to kill us.
Shez is just talking crazy right now. Byleth is like, what the fuck are you on about?
I'd like to think they're different.
If it was
Maybe
any
I'm
spoiler that
wrong.
Arval's
Maybe Epimenides is
The
just
game has
Arval's
really
true
been upfront about how
identity.
much of a shady asshole that dude guy
I don't know if
is.
they were just using me, or if they had some other goal in mind. All I've got are a bunch of mysteries that I'll probably never solve.
I did notice one thing.
What's that?
It was when we were fighting and you were being manipulated. It seemed like Arval was trying to keep your body from getting hurt. They could have fought more recklessly. I don't see why it would have made a difference to them, but they were making sure you weren't harmed.
Seriously, Arval was protecting me?
It's just a feeling I got. But yes, I think that could have been the case.
I guess Arval's the only one who knows the truth. Or as the Saros folks say, only the goddess knows, right? But hey, thanks for telling me that. Really. It does make me feel better. I've got no choice now but to keep moving forward. Live out the destiny the two of us once shared.
I'm pretty sure you, of all people, know how things work for the
Honey,
ghosts that live in your
I came
head
here
if
to
their host body
apologize,
dies.
but you ended up cheering me up instead. I'll catch you later, okay?
Only the goddess knows, Well, the goddess may have been the one telling you that.
Oh, hey. You fishing too?
Yeah.
Ease up, kid. We're on the same side now, remember?
I know. Guess I'm just not used to it yet.
We're not getting paid to kill each other anymore. We can just sit here like normal folks and catch some fish. You're a mercenary, right? For us, there's no such thing as friends or foes once that contract's paid.
Yeah, I know that too. You, don't remember me, do you?
Should I?
I used to run with Burling's mercenaries.
Burling. Ah, yes. That woman was an army unto herself.
Yeah, but you and your company wiped us out. My captain,
my comrades. Every last one of them died in that battle.
So that's what this is about. You have a grudge against me?
No, I don't. Wouldn't be much of a merc if I held a grudge against everyone I fought. But it was tough at the time. I really liked that scruffy crew. All of us got along, even the captain. They were the best group I'd ever been with. After what happened, I made myself a promise. I was gonna get stronger, and someday I would defeat you and the Ashen Demon.
But we're allies now, so you're gonna have to let that go, huh?
Looks like it. But you know, part of me is relieved. I don't think I could have beaten the Ashen Demon anyway.
Berlin.
Hey now,
Oh, right.
what
Sorry
about
about
me?
that. My daughter was
Or
having
are
a
you
bad
saying
day
you
at the
could take
time.
me?
Oh, no, unless I try. By the way, for a regular guy just catching some fish, you haven't even got your hook on.
Yeah, well, these old mitts aren't exactly made for tying tiny knots.
Give it here. I'll do it.
Not half bad, kid. Thanks.
People call you a legendary mercenary, but you're a lot less dexterous than I imagined.
Legendary is what they call dead people. I'm still alive and kicking, you know. Hey, and about what happened with Berlin. I'm sorry. The whole thing was just two minor lords trying to get the better of each other. If Burling hadn't come for us, we could have avoided all the bloodshed. But she came roaring in, yelling that she would take us down and make a name for herself. My kid couldn't afford to hold back at that point. I know that doesn't make it better, but I hope it helps.
What's done is done. You were just doing your job. I know that.
Hey, if you were here to catch fish, then why don't you have a fishing rod? Oh, that's not how we do things in my family. What does that mean? These mitts are for punching, not tying knots.
Well, this is great.
Having some trouble there, Gerald?
I wanted to replace the clasp on my gauntlet, but I can't quite get the blasted thing to stay.
Here, let me try.
Oh, look at that. You got a real knack for these things. Thanks, kid.
I'm surprised you've survived this long with those ham hands.
Being a good mercenary isn't all about dexterity, you know? Besides, when you've lived as long as I have, your body just doesn't work as well as it used to. Trust me.
You don't look that old to me.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
I like how that really did boil down to, yeah, sorry about Burling. My daughter could just be kind of murder happy like that at times.
Might just be
Basically.
a gut feeling, but I've started feeling like the goddess might call me to her side before long.
Come on, it's not like you're at death's door. Besides, you really think the goddess would be calling you of all people?
You don't hold anything back, do you? If the goddess won't have me, then I'll just have to make do in hell.
Do you think you'd have any regrets if you died right now?
Not one. Except maybe living too long.
What about leaving your kid behind?
Can't say I wouldn't be worried, especially because that kid isn't exactly normal.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Gerald, the goddess quite literally helped reset an entire timeline just so she wouldn't have to let you stay dead. Yeah, the goddess literally called him to her side by resetting the timeline.
Your kid sure likes to think out loud. Well, I guess I don't have room to talk.
It's a weird habit, almost like there's someone else there. Just a personal quirk, I guess. Makes it tough to find friends, though. In that sense, I'm glad we're here. There's tons of young folks around. And maybe the kid'll take a shine to you, since you're both mercenaries.
Who knows? I've been hoping we could talk more at least.
Is that so? I'm glad to hear you say that. Takes a load off my mind.
Now you really sound like a dad.
I was never much of a parent, but I do worry all the same. You know, I think we were meant to end up on the same side. Would you do me a favor and look after my kid?
When you put it that way, it really does sound like you're about to die.
Hey, it's possible. Tomorrow's never guaranteed in this line of work. I meant what I said. Can I count on you?
Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna refuse a dying man's wish after all.
Alright, and that's all of Shez. We did we do all of Dimitri's bees? I feel like we did. And I know we did Yuri. Like, I remember doing Yuri's bee, so I'm assuming we did all of Dimitri's bees. But, excuse you, don't try to eat my headphone cable, I need that. I remember, like, once we got out of Shez, like, there was a lot less bees to go around, so I feel like we did all of the bees for all of the... for all of the Blue Lions? I feel like that's correct.
Why do I feel someone watching me?
Hello, Bernadetta.
Somebody!
Stop. I am not a ghost, and I am not here to scold you. I'm just here to get food because I'm hungry. I was stuck inside all day with work and missed my chance for dinner.
Help! Oh, so you're just like me then.
It's rather difficult being shut inside all the time. I always lose track of the hour.
Yeah, same. But how'd You know I was inside all day today. Oh no. Was this work of yours spying on me?
No. If I had time to spy on people, there wouldn't be piles of documents teetering atop my desk.
Yeesh. That sounds rough. Wait, hold up. Why are you taking all those raw veggies and that dried meat?
Because it's my dinner? Which I missed? I thought I made all of this clear.
I think the last time we did supports before and I was
What?
finishing the last of
So you're gonna
Dimitri's
eat them
bees
just
right
like
after
that?
doing the B rank suite.
Not that there's
okay.
any problem with that.
So we've done C's for
Well then,
everybody
Bernadetta,
then.
perhaps we could cook something together.
Cook?
Yes. You have a bit of talent in the kitchen, right? Maybe you can take this chance to teach me.
Sure, I guess. I mean, if you're gonna insist, then I'll show you just how good I am. I think I heard you like this cheese and spice. The bag!
All right, that should do it. What's the matter, Bernadetta? You seem to be shrinking away.
I can't do it. I can't cook in front of a stranger.
I hardly think we're strangers at this point, but regardless, it looks fine to me. There's no need for you to be so distraught.
Don't worry about it, Bernie. Dimitri can't taste things.
It's not fine! The spice bag ripped and they all fell in, and then I got so flustered I dropped an entire reel of cheese in there! It smells terrible, and I mean really terrible. There's no possible
Dimitri,
way
your
it's going to
ability
taste
to taste
good.
things is not going to do wonders for Bernie's self-confidence in regards to her teaching ability.
What? Okay, if you force yourself to eat that, you're going to be sick for days.
I'm not forcing myself to do anything. It would be a shame to waste food we made together.
So it's not gross? You don't feel sick or anything? Well, I guess I could try it then.
That would be inadvisable, Bernie.
So disgusting! How did you even eat it? Oh, wait. Don't tell me. You're eating it as an excuse to say, I hereby sentence you to death for feeding me horrible food!
What?
Do you honestly believe I wander about executing people at will for the smallest transgressions?
No! I don't want to die! Let me live!
Too much cheese and spice, is it? I suppose I'll bring her something else for dinner, since she only had one bite of this.
Bernie, does he look like some kind of crazed murder hobo to you? Yes, if she thinks really hard about it. Yes, I know, you're down there. What? What do you want? Hey, leave it. Leave it.
Your Majesty, you will take ill if you keep sleeping at your desk.
Do? Oh, I've done it again. Yes, well, thank you for waking me and sparing my poor neck any further damage.
You sounded pained. Is everything all right?
Dreaming of the past again, I fear.
The tragedy?
No. The day I returned to the capital afterward.
Dimitri, yeah, you'd
Do you
probably be able
remember
to save
the
yourself a
child
lot
who
of problems
cursed me
if
after
you'd be
my
honest
father's
about not
funeral?
being able to taste things. Yeah, probably,
Yes.
but...
I believe he was the son of a knight who fell in Vesker.
He was furious that I would not take revenge on your people, and even more enraged to see you serving as my vassal. He berated me without mercy, demanding I kill you then and there. All I could do was walk away. Everyone desires revenge for that day. Survivors and the dead alike cry out for retribution.
I know, Your Majesty.
I seek to fulfill the duty they have given me, and have never once flinched from it. And yet, to do. If I were mortally wounded and begged with my dying breath for you to avenge me, what would you do?
I would do it, even at the cost of my life.
And if I told you to forget me, and live for your own happiness?
I would regretfully decline. I cannot know happiness without you by my side. I would still seek vengeance, just for my own sake, not yours.
Interesting. And nothing I say to the contrary will change your mind?
Your Majesty, can you not live for your own sake?
My life is not my own. It belongs to my kingdom, my people, and the dead. But had I been born to a different fate, well, perhaps I would have traveled outside Foland with you as a mercenary. Or perhaps I'd be a farmer. I confess, the thought does sound rather delightful.
Surely you could still tread those paths.
It was a jest to do. I merely said the first thing that came to mind. I am driven by matters on which I cannot permit myself to yield. I hope you understand that.
Well then, all the more reason to get some proper rest. If work remains, I will aid you. If you have difficulty sleeping, I will lend you my ear. But seeing you slumped over at your desk disturbs me. Every time, I fear death has come for you in the night.
Death will never sneak up on me as long as I remain under your watchful attention.
I would kill everyone in the room with zero hesitation.
No. If I were to die and leave you alone, the aftermath would be horrendous. I suppose I will heed your advice. Just this once.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Okay, we're good.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I swear I will avenge you. Please, just wait a little longer. I will uncover who drove you to your deaths, no matter the cost.
Oh, don't worry, Dimitri's just crazy again.
Glenn... Oh, Felix. It's you. I'm sorry you had to see that.
After 20 years, I've seen all of you there is to see. Everyone else is asleep. You know that, right? So why are you locked up here in the chapel? Also, what's with the
Dimitri, I know it's hard to not to know that Byleth is around.
I suppose
or not to now that Byleth is around, but you're letting your crazy show again.
I suffer from a kind of waking dream. I see them. I see the people who died on that day, at all hours, light and dark. If the Empire was involved in that incident,
if the Emperor stood by and gave tacit consent, and give to them the same end. Gouge out their hearts and cleave their heads from their shoulders. Those are the words the dead scream at me.
When did this start?
It's been 6 years. But I began hearing their voices 4 years ago, during my first battle. I recognized the enemy general as a man I had seen in Dusker. When I removed his head, the voices cheered. They laughed. It was as if a terrible pain had finally been lifted from them.
I think I get what's happening here. Look, do you really think your father and Glenn and everyone else would be torturing you like that? You're the one who's doing this, Dimitri, not them. You.
Even if that were true, I can never forgive myself.
Believe me, I know. But it's your job to lead. If you lose your path, you'll take everyone else down with you. So try to keep that whole removing their heads thing in check, yeah? We can just call it our little secret.
Well then.
Don't enable his crazy
Are you
Felix.
offering to let me unburden my heart to you when the time calls for it? You're the only reason I haven't descended into utter savagery, you know. So just as Lug had Kaifon, and my father had Rodrigue, I would ask that you continue to be my right-hand man.
Right-hand man, huh? I like the sound of that.
What are you doing?
As your new right-hand man, my first act is to haul my restless king back to bed where he belongs.
This is absurd. My feet are dragging on the floor.
It's your own fault for being so tall, you sack of muscle.
Say, do you remember how I once carried you in this way when you twisted your ankle?
Yeah,
I think I get
turns
what's
out
going
lugging
on
folks
here.
around is good training.
Do.
So just cram it in.
Yes,
and let me
there
finish
aren't
my
ghosts
workout
telling
already.
you what to do. You're just insane.
Yes,
you
of course.
Don't seem surprised by
Please,
this. It was pretty
carry on.
obvious before. Fair. What? What?
Is it much further, Mercedes? We'll likely need to rest
Tiny
soon.
child, now is not the time to be problem
We're
causing.
just about there. See? It's right over that hill.
Hey, she got a case of the zoomies at the moment.
I had no idea there was a village here.
Actually, I used to live in this village once upon a time. You can see the church where I stayed in the distance.
It is a place of stunning beauty and quiet. It almost feels like coming home somehow.
Oh, Mercedes! It's been so long. Come to visit your mother, have you?
It has been a while, hasn't it? And no, I'm mostly here to show my friend around.
My, what a handsome young man. Are you with the Knights of Seros?
What? Oh, no. I'm the kingdom's... I'm a member of their
Mercedes.
army.
You don't say. Guess that means you work closely with our Mercedes here.
No,
Well, if you've got the
never.
time,
Her name
go
will
pop
be
into the
pronounced
church.
different ways by
I'm sure
everyone,
the
and
priest
never
and
the
the
way you would
monks will be
expect.
delighted to see you.
Absolutely. Also, I do want to say hello to Mother, since we've come all this way.
I always find it nerve-wracking to meet friends of friends.
Oh, she's harmless. She works over at the church. My mother and I owe her a lot. There are many people there who share similar circumstances to our own. Too many, I'm afraid. Still, the priest accepts anyone and everyone who comes to him for aid.
Such open-mindedness is rare in these times. I wonder if it's because of the church's teachings.
You know, this village would look very different had you not accepted the central church.
Well, I've heard the most unpleasant rumors about the southern church, and I don't know how to govern all these villages myself.
I realize you know far more than me when it comes to things like politics and war. But I still thought it was important for you to see what you're protecting with your own eyes.
Which is why you insisted I accompany you. To be honest, I have no idea how the war will change Fodlan. But I will do everything in my power to protect this place, and all others like it.
Thank you, Dimitri. Let's head on over to the church. There are some wonderful views on the way there. There are fields of flowers, beautiful brooks. Goodness, so many things I want to show you. Oh, and I need to say hello to my mother and the priest while we're at the church.
I suppose I should give them my regards as well. Considering I hold your life in my hands as your commanding officer.
My, you're so nervous. Perhaps you should let me handle the introductions. I'll just tell them you're someone very important to me.
Wait, Mercedes. That may lead to some untoward conclusions.
Sorry, it was just a joke, I promise. I didn't mean to fluster you. Still, I much prefer this Dimitri to the scowly one I always seem to see.
You are a master of catching me off balance, Mercedes.
Ah, Roderick. One more.
Do you have a moment, Rodrigue? There's something I'd like
Actually,
to
I
ask.
can't really recommend trying to troll Dimitri like this. The poor guy already has his own share of problems as is without people thinking he's involved with someone.
I want to hear your side.
But
of
he
the story.
is, though, just not her.
Of which story exactly?
How did you feel when you learned of my father's death? I've struggled to ask this before, but I want to know.
So that's what you mean. Honestly, I had a difficult time believing it at first. But as moons passed, I gradually grew to accept the reality of it. And of course, I recalled the promise I'd made him, and vowed to myself that I would carry it out.
I wonder then, had I died alongside my father and Glenn and Dusker, what would you have done? You know, a fleeting thought flashes across my mind every time I see you reflect upon my father. It feels as though you aspired not just to stand beside him in life, but to meet death with him as well.
Don't overthink it, Your Majesty. I'm a pretty stubborn guy, you know. No, I didn't wish for my own death when Lambert passed. But sometimes I think that if I have to die to honor my promise to him, I would be satisfied with that.
I won't allow you to throw your life away, Rodrigue. I'll not have you stolen from me by that promise. Losing you would be almost like losing my father for a second time. If you were to die because of me, it would destroy me.
You may say that, but a subject lives by the example their king sets for them. And I know well enough that you don't value your life either. So if you'd like me to place more importance on my life, I urge you to do the same, Your Majesty.
You're right. I have no excuse.
No, I should apologize. That came out rather more harsh than I intended. You sounded so much like Lambert just now, I simply couldn't hold myself back. In truth, that's something I've wished I could have said to him for a long time now. Yet, you were the one who had to bear the brunt of it. I suppose I can hardly poke fun at Matthias for holding on to that sword all those years, can I?
Pretty stubborn guy, you know, but I'm a stubborn guy who is very weak to being stabbed.
Indeed you did.
Extremely weak to being
Remember
stabbed.
the story of the sword? About how I got stuck
That
behind
tiniest
enemy
poke
lines
and he
like a
just
fool?
dies.
Well, the first thing Lambert said after he broke through their forces was, "Don't throw your life away like that." Not that it was too
It's
convincing
okay,
coming
everyone.
from a
The
guy
tiny one
covered
has
in cuts
zoomied
and
herself
scrapes.
out. She's passing out on the couch again.
I can't imagine. It sounds as though you two were very close.
You have all of this energy, but no
I
stamina.
envy him for having
None.
such strong bonds
You
with his
zoomed
friends.
yourself out very quickly.
Don't let my son catch you saying that. Pretty sure he
He really does have a great second dad.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's enough reminiscing for one day. How about you try
Rodrigue's so
squeezing some
cool.
memories
Like,
out of
it's a shame
Matthias
that he
next
gets
time?
shafted, like, super hard in
A
houses.
fine idea. Perhaps I'll invite Sylvain and the others to join in as well.
Fire Emblem dads always have a bad time of it. So, Roderick was born with the curse of being a dad in a Fire Emblem game. Fortunately for him, time wants to get very fucky when you introduce people with time powers. Yep. So, we did not do Bernie's C with Linhart. I know that because we didn't have him yet. And evidently we didn't do any of her B's. So we did do Bernie and Happy's C. I remember that because that was the one where they were talking about plants. So we need to do her stuff with like everybody else. Let's skip over Linhart. Oh, I did. I skipped over Linhart. Oops. Hold on. Do it with anyone else, right? Gilbert, Ferdinand, Linhart, yes, okay.
I'm tired. Time to find a good spot for a nap. Bernadetta?
Bernie unfortunately was stuck
Why
in the
are
spot
you
of being right
skulking in
after
the
Shez and
weeds?
Dimitri on the list, which made all her supports keep getting pushed back as new characters were introduced for them to talk with.
No, sir!
Also, the fact that she
Huh?
didn't have
But
any C
I'm alone
supports.
here.
Except with
I
Linhart, who we
see.
didn't have at the time,
That.
and Happy.
Yeah, that! I was out walking when I saw them! A man and a woman together in the woods, getting, heated.
Well, neither of them seems to be dead yet.
They're on a secret date, you dummy! Not fighting!
Regardless, how does two lovers stealing a moment alone lead to you curled up here in the fetal position?
Bernie, have you been talking to Ignatz? Because if so, stop doing that.
They might try to get revenge on me.
Relax. To them, you're no different than a pebble on the side of the road.
Hey, I'm not a pebble. I mean, sure, sometimes I wish I was just a rock, but...
Then just roll away quietly and you'll be fine.
Just roll away quietly. Hey, yeah! Wait, no! They'd see me! Stop trying to get me killed!
We've made enough racket over here to raise the dead, and they haven't even noticed. I think it's safe to say they're off in their own little world. Still, good for them, sharing words of love when either one could die tomorrow.
Wait, they could die tomorrow?
They're both soldiers who serve on the front lines. I doubt a rosy future awaits them.
No! That's not true! Couples swearing their love and defying destiny are a staple of classic fiction!
Sure, but the fact it wouldn't happen in reality is what makes it such a good story, right?
Wait, but there are tons of stories where two people who have sworn their love don't ever meet again.
Likely because that's something people are familiar with from their own lives.
Okay, so which is it? I believe those two can be happy together, so they can, right?
I hope that's the case, but reality is cruel. Anyway,
They could
I've
die
talked
tomorrow?
myself
Bernie,
right to
they are
sleep.
generic NPCs in a game where generic soldiers die by the hundreds. What did you think would happen to them?
Uh-oh. Guess I'd better try that turn into a pebble and roll away quietly plan.
Bernie really doesn't understand how this works.
Bernadetta, what are you doing here? Uh-oh, looks like I'm
Has
in the
Linhardt gotten a head
I will be
injury
going.
yet? Not got a head injury yet when he passes out like that all the time.
Listen to me!
He has a very hard head. That's how.
Remember the two people we saw out on a date here? Well, the guy died.
Sadly, that sort of thing does happen. Another tragic love
Oh
story for the
no,
books,
the
I
generic
suppose.
NPC died. Who would have
I
guessed?
really believed they'd live happily ever after, and I can't take it ending like this. It's so
Honest question,
awful.
Bernie. Are you sure it was him and not a different generic
Perhaps
NPC who looked
so,
exactly
but
like him?
This is the result of the Empire choosing war. And although we're now allied with those trying to stop it, there's no less fighting on this side.
But I thought the power of their love for each other would see them through, safe and sound.
Also,
You
to be fair to
expect too much
Bernie,
from
the
love.
one time she was actually close to a guy her
Yes,
dad had
there
him
are
nearly beaten
instances
to
where
death and
emotion
dumped in a
allows the
ditch
body to
somewhere,
go
so it's
beyond
not
the
surprising
bounds of
she
what
isn't great
should
with
be
this stuff.
possible.
Yeah, here's the good news though. That guy didn't
The
die.
effects are quite minor.
That guy is
It's
literally
certainly
Yuri.
not going to bring the dead back to life.
I know
Is
that,
my
Linhardt. I
understanding.
just think it's sad. I mean, don't you think it's sad?
If pushed, yes, I would consider that to be sad.
What is wrong with you?
I didn't even know the man's name. Also, plenty of our enemies die, so why are we only sad for allies?
Because they're, you know, our allies?
I wouldn't want you to die, of course. That would make me quite sad.
Oh, did we?
And I don't
Houses
want to
was
see
a long
you
time
die
ago,
either,
Bio.
Linhardt. I'd cry even more if you died. Just
If
the
it
thought
wasn't
of
in the
it makes
memes
me-
or related to our, you know, genocidal war crimes that I probably don't remember.
Oh dear. Please don't cry over things that haven't happened yet.
Oh no! That's what I'm doing!
I've said many
I'm
times,
so
I
sorry,
record and
Linhardt.
stream mostly in a fugue state where I forget
It's
everything that
fine.
happened.
But to that point, let's just make sure you and I both survive this war together. If we can do that, what you said will have come true and I'll happily apologize.
Apologize? For what?
For disputing the idea that two people's feelings for each other can help them overcome the risk of death.
Yeah, it is your job to remember those.
After all,
you are
the
my
two of us
dictionary of
surviving the
truth,
war would
Bios.
refute any arguments
You are,
I've made
you
to
are
the
my
contrary.
research department.
Oh, I get it! So you and me and the power of our feelings for each other could... wait, our... what now?
All of this earnest conversation has me exhausted. Time for some sleep.
Again? No! Don't you dare fall asleep on me now! If you do that, I'm leaving you here!
What a rest. What's going on there?
Is this really happening? Oh, my prayers have been answered.
Oh look, it was just a generic different
When I was about to
NPC.
die, your face floated into my mind, and then a miracle happened.
Well, I feel bad if you died, Bernie.
It
You
seems
would?
reports of his death in
What
battle
makes
were
me
greatly
different from the man who
exaggerated.
died? For
I'll have
starters,
to let
you
Bernadetta
aren't
know.
an NPC.
Although given her sensibility, she's as likely to think he's a ghost as she is to be happy about it.
And then that guy wasn't even dead. Like, all that heartache for nothing. I do... Oh, wait. It's Linhardt. Is Bernie actually... She doesn't even have any supports with Yuri for some reason. Awesome.
There you are, Lynn.
Oh, Dorothea. How unusual. I didn't expect to see you in a place like this.
It's not unusual when I've been looking for you literally everywhere. You skipped out on the War Council meeting this morning, and Dimitri seemed very disappointed.
Yes, something came up that required pulling an all-nighter 2 nights in a row, so I had some sleep debts to repay.
Next time, maybe spare a thought for the person who'll get stuck having to track you down. We discussed important matters in the meeting, you know. There was some kind of accident, and now we're experiencing a delay on supplies.
And now we need to ration our food? It's a pain, but these things happen. In the worst case, we're supposed to be considering ways to forage for food ourselves, right? I suppose I can handle it if we need to fish, but I'll have to pass on tromping through the fields and mountains to harvest wild... whatevers.
Wait, how do you know all this?
Honestly, I hadn't even
You weren't
realized we
even
were
at
on
the
Linhardt's
meeting.
menu and not Bernie's.
Were you?
Yeah.
Because I had someone who attended take notes for me.
Wait.
Yeah,
You
Linhardt
had
was actually
someone-
earlier in the list, and I skipped
More
over him
importantly,
when I
you
was
should propose a
tabbing to
review of
Bernie,
our
and then
supply
realized I
logistics
hadn't
at the next
done
War
him
Council
and tabbed
meeting.
back. Because otherwise I would have missed
Considering
him
our current
forever.
position on the front lines, we should break up the transportation of provisions along multiple routes. It may cost a little more to split things up, but it'll allow us to avoid situations like this. Overall, it should provide many benefits, and the plan will be viable
See,
for
like,
use
in
in
that
future
one
campaigns
instance,
too.
if you hadn't realized that we were on... if you...
Dorothea?
Like, we just wouldn't have done...
This sort of
Linhardt.
thing really gets your brain going,
Easy
huh?
to miss him.
Still, I wish
Then he
you'd just
said I thought
go
it
to the
was kinda
meetings and
forgettable.
share all of these opinions.
People would be thrilled at your resourcefulness, you know.
Oh, I'm quite happy with things the way they are. Attending meetings would only add to my headaches.
You can only
Dorothea,
run from
my
this
job
for
is
so
to
long,
sleep.
Lynn.
I don't pay attention to meetings because I have people who
And
do that
sure,
for me.
I'll propose what you asked me to.
Specifically you.
But I'm going to do so in your name.
Wait, are you serious?
Oh, very much so. I couldn't possibly take the credit for something you thought up, right?
I suppose that's fair. I can feel the headaches forming already.
I've been looking for you, Lynn. Here you go.
Ah, the notes from the War Council this morning. Thank you.
Say, why do you always ask me to do this now?
Because you agreed,
you know
dummy.
the situation, so it just makes it easier. Especially now that I've had more projects dropped on my lap.
They're projects that you yourself proposed.
Besides, your handwriting is beautifully legible.
Good on you,
Your
Dorothea,
weight
not
with
putting up
words
with
makes
any
the
of his
material
bullshit.
quite easy to
Yeah,
digest.
exactly.
Really, it's delightful.
If you think I'm going to keep being your scribe just because you compliment me, think again.
Hello, Dorothea. How good to see you recovered.
Yes, I'm better now, thanks. The fever's all gone. Though, I'm way behind on everything because of it, so if you'll excuse me, I need to get caught
God
up.
damn it, Linhart. Make someone else do your work, or
Here.
better yet, actually do it yourself.
Are these notes?
Oh, once Byleth
Wait,
hears about this,
Did you
he'll
take
be,
notes
he'll
from
be
the
doing
whole
his own
time I was
notes.
recovering?
Yes, I summarized any essential information I thought you might need. War councils, scouting reports, that kind of thing.
So, this is your handwriting? Like, yours.
Why do you look so surprised? You do this exact same thing for me all the time. It's
It'll be
only
pretty hard
natural
for him
that I
to
step
take
in
notes
for you
with
during
broken
time of illness.
hands.
Huh. You really are a strange guy. You know that? You never want to do anything that takes even the slightest effort, even when someone asks. And yet you went to all this trouble for me. So, like I said, you're strange. And a little infuriating.
If you say so. Personally, I think everything would be a lot easier if everyone behaved as I do. Actually, that would be great. Our war councils would take 5 minutes a day, tops.
And be pointless. Most days we'd probably just have an empty room because no one bothered to show up.
Oh no, it would absolutely be like that.
You know, I feel like I understand you a little better.
Being understood sounds like a bother in its own right. Oh well, I suppose we'll cross that particular bridge when we arrive at it. But for now, I'm afraid I'm quite tired.
Of course you are. Well, since I'm all better now, why don't you go ahead and sleep
Literally
on my
nothing would
behalf?
ever get done if everyone was as lazy
I'll
as
take
you
care
are.
of things while you do.
Thinking would require effort.
Better not.
Bio. That
You're
would
still
not
recovering.
fit with his lazy mantra.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that I found people to handle all your assigned work. So, take a day off and enjoy a long nap, all right?
I wish you were this nice on a regular basis. But despite that, you do have your charms.
I'm perfectly happy lacking charms, so don't bother looking for weird new ones in me.
Okay, seriously.
Alright, we're gonna get Petra out of the way, and we're gonna call it after Petra. So we'll need to remember. I'll make sure I note it at the end of the stream so I can just check on playback next week that we're starting
Sand,
at
rain,
Constance with Linhart.
river? Is he writing of the weather?
Linhart's list. Constance.
Are you alright, Petra?
C rank.
That's quite the noise that just came flying out of your diaphragm.
Oh.
Linhart, perhaps you can be helping me.
This is
letter
a
is giving
great
me
support,
much
by the
difficulty.
way.
The letter is
Oh,
it?
Linhart, why can't
I
you
was
be
under
this
the impression
efficient
that you had
effective
no
all the
trouble
time?
reading the
Because
language
I
of
simply can't be
Fodlan.
bothered. Of course, that's what you'd say.
I also had that thought, but this page is not making sense. Can you be reading it for me?
What? Oh, no, I couldn't. This is a private matter. I mean, I don't even know who it's from.
But I cannot be writing back if I do not know what they are saying. Please, do this favor for me.
Oh, very well. Let me have a look. Goodness, no wonder you struggled with this. It couldn't be more archaic. Right, well, let me give this a shot. Yon world is endless sand, and I but a parched grain air upon its bosom. O beauty, was it the western wind which brought thee hither, merciful rain? Soft, my river o'erfloweth. Petra, is this a love letter?
That is a possibility, but I do not have certainty.
The fuck
Okay,
wrote
you
this
definitely
shit?
should have mentioned that before I started reading this. Well, too late now, I suppose.
Indeed. I am blaming the letter. If no one can have understanding of it, the writer is a waster of paper.
Well, it's not that I don't understand so much as... Look, let me just give this back to you.
You have understanding? You must be teaching me.
Oh, very well. The writer is using archaic speech to express his love for you through metaphor. So much so that I would say they have gone and spoiled the whole thing.
So he has passion? I am pleased, although I have little knowledge of the letter's writer.
Really? From what he's written here, it sounds as if he sees you every day. Also, the letter is absolutely rife with mistakes. Take this passage, for example. I think he mentioned the western wind in an effort to evoke Brigid, but it's actually the southern wind that brings rain. Besides which, the merciful rain is a gift from the goddess. This paramour of yours shouldn't be tossing such sacrilegious comparisons about. And I won't even ask how a grain can be parched, let alone turn into an overflowing river.
The words have richness and color. I wish I could be reading them as well as you.
Trust me, it's nothing special. Well-crafted writing has layers. This just has apostrophes.
Linhart actually going full actually
So,
mode over
are you
here,
planning
and
to
this
write him
poor
back?
dude's on this poor dude's off
This has
love
been a
letter.
most painful lesson of how little I am knowing. I must be reading many books to study the old speech of Fodlan before making my reply.
I sure hope she doesn't plan on writing him back in the same style, or they're going to end up talking right past each other.
Yeah, about that though. Hey, Rank.
Goodness, I slept too much. A little fishing ought to snap me right awake.
I am hearing you, Linhart.
Apparently so. Care to fish with me?
Ah! Or what watery expanse whilst our hooked morsel fly? What piscine denizen dost thou... Nay, thou! Dost thou be intending to make thy quarry?
So, I want to make one thing very clear right here. This woman cannot figure out, like, standard Fodlan. Like, she cannot do it. Her standard Fodlan is just Starfire speak. But she somehow managed to pretty much master Archaic Fodlan instantly. Like, what the actual fuck?
In days of yore, I oft partooketh of the angler's art. Yea, forsooth, I was being quite adept. But in this place, thou art knowing thy waters better. Mayhap thou art being my guide, Eth?
Oh, that is wonderful. Is this about that love letter? You did say you were going to study up on the old speech. I was wondering why you were assaulting me with so many these and thous.
Fodlan's old tongue gives me much more difficulty than the young one.
No, you speak it much better, actually.
Absolutely. Most people struggle to even write that way, let alone speak it. I'm in awe of you, Petra. What you've done is very, very impressive. I bet you could scour the continent and only find a handful of people who can form such sentences.
Pretty sure that also means that
I
she
mean,
straight up
people
just
haven't
talks
spoken
like that
way
to
since
fuck with
the
people.
goddess herself
Because there's
walked
no
the
way
land.
she would have had such a hard time speaking
So
normally when
speakers
she
of
could
this
do
style
that
are
in a day.
I have been trying with hardness to learn how to be speaking like everyone else in Fodlan. And now I am finding success, but in the wrong century.
I think you should be proud. This only goes to show how much of an aptitude you have for languages. You're not even from Fodlan, and you can out-thou the best of us. That's fascinating. Thou art extremely fascinating, Petra.
I am not understanding the funniness.
At least you could hold a
Do the
conversation
people
with
of
Seth
Fodlan
at her
truly
flame
never
now.
speak in this way?
Usually only if they're a professional actor or trying to make a bit of a joke. But perhaps you're about to usher in a major comeback. In fact, I think we should schedule some time for you to coach me, Professor Petra.
Me teaching you? That idea is a wonderful one. You are usually teaching me so many things, and now I can be repaying the favor.
It's almost a shame you've got your life mapped out as Queen of Brigid. You'd make a fine academic. I don't suppose I could
Linhardt, stop
talk you
encouraging
into-
her and just help her speak like a normal person.
Academic?
Yes, a sort of professional scholar. It takes passion and, more importantly, luck. But you've got both.
I do?
Well, there's no question you're passionate and a hard worker, which just leaves the luck part. And I'd say you live a charmed life indeed if people are dropping you love letters in the middle of a war. Whatever happened with that, by the way?
I gave him my rejection and will never be seeing him again.
What? Really? I'm dying to know more, but listen, just give the academia thing some thought, all right? You'd be perfect for it.
So also, Petra studied up on and became a master of speaking Old Fodlan for the express reason of rejecting a guy. I fucking love that support conversation so much. Like, it's one of my favorite ones in the entire game, like, just unironically. It's so good. Alright, so we are gonna call it here for this week. Next week, hopefully Willow's not dying and we can, you know, kind of be back to a more normal sort of thing. Although we will still just be doing supports because we've got a lot left to go. It's gonna pick up now that we're past like Shez and Dimitri and have less to do for everybody. It's like we got 2 more to do on Linhardt, then let's see. 1, 2, 4, 5 more to do on Bernie. And then... two more to do on Dorothea. Like, it's gonna speed up as we start to get through this and have less people to work with. And the deeper in we get, the more we're gonna have already done people. Until, like, we finally get to the back end here with, like, Sedith is literally just gonna have this one with Flame. Flame will be totally done by the time we get to her. Teresa we haven't got yet. Catherine will be done by the time we get there. Ditto Shamir. Violet is already done. And Geralt is already done. So, like, yeah, the deeper in, the faster it's gonna go. So, next time we pick up with Linhart's List, Constance C, and carry on from there. So, until next week, later.